Hey cuties, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark, and we're of course going to be watching Pretty 20-year-old girl kills her dates for being needy, but men want to fix her. Obviously by Rotten Mango. Now, this is from 3 weeks ago. This was requested by someone on YouTube. So I was like, oh, you know what? I might as well do it today. So, requests fulfilled within like 24 hours, right? Though this video probably is going to be late. It's about to be 7 p.m. You can see down there in the bottom right, I do have my active time down there below me. It's about to be 7. That means I only got an hour to record and upload this, which is not going to happen because this video itself is an hour, and I think I'm about to spend an undisclosed amount of time at the beginning right now discussing this video without having even watched it yet. So again, you do not want to skip this part because I'm going to discuss what I assume this video is going to be about. Well, not necessarily what it's going to be about, but the whole fix her thing, fix him thing. I'm assuming this is going to be the same song and dance that we've seen many times before. Whether it's women with serial killers or it's men with, again, pretty girls who kill people. Right? It's, well, serial killer, right? Female serial killers. I'm assuming it's the same thing, so we're going to discuss that before we even get into it. And again, I'm assuming this is going to apply to this video. I can already give you a reaction / discussion about this video without even having watched it yet. So yeah, we might be here for a while. So of course the whole fixer thing, we've seen it before, like the whole yandere girl in Japan. Thankfully that guy did live, right? And is back to just doing his life, right? I think he was like I don't remember what they're called. How about the guys who work at the like boy like clubs or whatever, you know, you women go in there and they get catered to by a bunch of pretty guys, right? He was one of those. I guess it's just escort. No, it's not escort. Host. He was a host. It's a host club. That's what they're called. He was a host at a host club. I think she might have even been a hostess at a hostess club. Question mark. The girl who ended up doing that, but yeah, he's fine, and though she's out of jail at this point, and she's basically an a content creator, a streamer. I don't know if she still is streaming, but the last time we checked, when we watched the video on her, even though I already knew about her before watching that R.A.D video, I had looked it up then, and she was out of jail and was trying to be a content creator. Again, I don't know if that fell through since, of course, you know, she tried to stab someone to death. So I don't know if she was able to continue being successful with that career endeavor, we want to say, what we want to call it. So I think I've briefly talked about this in other videos, not completely, but we're going to go into it right now. This is also another don't shoot the messenger kind of situation, as well as it might even turn into like a cognitive hazard because you might learn something like, wait, that changes your entire view from this, because this is an interesting, I think, way to see things, like once you hear what I'm going to say. It might take me a second to get to that point because I need to build the bridge to get there, right? And we're going to start on the female side of things. You know, females, the stereotype that they're obsessed with serial killers, right? They love serial killer documentaries. You know, it's a stereotype, right? We're not saying that all women are like that. It's a stereotype for a reason, though. And how a lot of serial killers who end up in jail get a plethora of fan mail from women wanting to be with them, right? And I think like psychologists, or I don't know who is saying this, are saying it's like an instinctual thing. Like they don't necessarily need to be attractive. I'm saying here we're saying they're attractive, and that's probably why the men don't care. But I think it's more further than that. But like this is maybe like an instinctual attraction, where a serial killer entire thing is killing people. if you're able to kill people, and a lot of people, that must mean you are strong? Question mark. I don't know if you want to say strong. Like you're strong enough to actually kill people or not care, or something like that, and then thus, from it, like a caveman, this is like as a cave woman instinct, it'd be like, okay, this man can kill, which means he can defend, which means he's a good protector, question mark, even though that's literally opposite. So the wires get crossed there, but there's some, that's kind of how they explain the reasoning behind the stereotype of, women being obsessed with serial killers, right? There's like some sort of instinctual tie there, where you through mental gymnastics you get to the point of he must be a good protector because he's already proven that he can kill people, question mark, which means he can defend you, but though he's more likely he's going to kill you, right, as well. I think that's kind of like something like that. I'm not a psychologist, scientist, whatever, right? So I'm not giving you a verbatim like college essay on whatever the theory is there, right? That's just, I think, what they try to explain that away with. So maybe some women might have that kind of instinct. So here is where the twist that I'm adding onto that is, from my perspective. I think we might end up finding out, we might have already found this out because I saw a headline at some point, that memories, question mark, stay with me, memories can actually be transferred to your children, right? So let's think of them as data stored in your brain, and then once the reproduction has begun / whatever, right, that data can then be passed down into the DNA and be written into the DNA, question mark, on both ends, because you can argue it's just information, right? And then that gets passed down to you, which then could explain why you have certain issues in certain places, maybe even like maybe anxiety, like severe anxiety. Maybe your parents had some sort of trauma, question mark, and that data got passed down to you. And it's not that you get those memories, but what if instinct is actually just memories that have been passed down to you? Because how does instinct even work? Like, how do animals and humans have instinct if it's not just actually memories being passed down, like their memories that they have being passed down to you into data that then is like in your DNA that you don't necessarily remember, because that's not how it works, maybe, but maybe you actually can, I don't know, but it gets written as instinct. Thus that's how you, over many years, like you end up, okay, this is how you're able to walk, so now that you know that, you can eventually learn how to do that. That's more so like with animals is better, or how we like to see faces, and like that's an instinctual thing with humans, right? We're constantly looking for faces to prevent ourselves from being attacked by predators, right? So we instinctually see faces in everything. And again, what if that's just because instinct is just memory from our parents being passed down? And then if you get enough memories passed down of, hey, we need to be looking out for faces, then it eventually just solidifies in like everyone's DNA, right? So like, where am I going with this, right? So that's what I'm saying with the female side of like instinctual nonsense that the psychiatrist or psychologist, I don't know who is, again, what scientist is saying that might be why some women are obsessed with serial killers, because enough times it's been passed down via memory, aka instincts, but we can stop calling it instinct now, just calling it passed on memories from generation of generations, or even millennia of people, of man who kill equal good because can defend, right? Can defend you. And thus, like, maybe some women enjoy that or want that. So flip side, now we're going to the other side, why men would be obsessed with female serial killers, which I don't know how many actually are, because I don't know any men who are. But the fix, I can fix her. I mean, there's also I can fix him. But on the I can fix her side, just past the pretty thing, though, I think pretty actually is a big, significant factor into why they don't care about what she's done, right? Is still going on to that whole memory being passed down thing. Like, I hate that the model always, like, it's so janky right there. It doesn't reset. There we go. Get back to normal. Where even if you don't think guys think this way now, I feel like this has been, like, said enough times over, be nice to women, don't hurt them, don't lay your hands on women, they treat them like precious little angels. Like, obviously people are gonna be like, oh, that no one acts that way, but I feel like it has been said enough, at least through all of humans history, enough times to become instinct, right? The memory of treat them like angels has become, well, angels that can do no wrong. We need to add that part. Angels that can do no wrong has been said to enough people via whatever, right? That it becomes instincts, right? Because the memory is being passed down enough times, and now it's instinct in some people. Question mark, and that's where the I can fix her come into play, because it's like, okay, well, she's a girl, so it doesn't matter what she does, because again, precious angel who can do no wrong. Question mark. So they just don't care. There's probably some other thing that you can use with it. I just can't remember, I can think of how this theory of memories, like instinct actually just being your parents' memories transferred to you, and then like those memories being transferred to you is also just segments of their parents' memories being transferred to you. It's like, again, it's a huge tree of data that's just constantly being passed down forever, right? Again, there could be other things, like I was saying with this theory, where it isn't just, precious angels that can do no wrong, instinct that's been passed down. It could be anything else. I can't think of it right now, but like maybe you can, right? Of why other reasons the I can fix her comes to mind. I mean, you can also argue like men want to fix things, right? So that could be a instinctual thing that's been passed down through memory and making it into instinct. So they have the I want to fix things instincts being given to them, and maybe the precious angels that can do no wrong instinct has been passed down by enough chain memories of that being people's, how would you put it, like how they were raised, right? So it might just be the reason, because this is just all theorizing, right? I'm not saying any of this is real, but I wouldn't be surprised if X amount of years we actually find out that, like, wait a minute, instinct is just memory that of your parents, and then their parents and their parents and their parents, right? Like, we actually have from the point of being created, we have all of our parents' memories stored inside of us. We just can't access them with our own memory, but they're still stored inside of us via data, and that data has been used to fuel how we are, right, and how we act. And it might be like, you might be wondering, like, okay, well, there's this weird thing about myself that I don't know how I got it. Maybe it was your parents' memories that were transferred to you, and you can't access that data, but it's influenced who you are, right? And it's a weird way of putting it, but I feel like maybe that's like easy way to understand it. It's just data, right? That's been given to you in inaccessible data, but it still has a major role/control over you. I think even I have said a few times, no one's gotten mad at me for saying this, thankfully, but I have said, like, even I have the trait of wanting to be more lenient with women compared to men. Like, when we talk about these kinds of things, like if a guy did the same thing that a woman did, I would want to be more lenient to her, even though they did the exact same thing. So again, like, is that not just how you're brought up, or is it also, is it a multiplicative effect of, again, instinctual memory plus how you're raised, because like if that instinctual memory would have been applied to your parents, so then they also raised you that way, but then you also have the data of who knows how many centuries of also being also having that feeling or whatever passed down as well, right? So it's just multiplicative. Oh my god, I can't say multiplicative. Well, why can't I say multiplicative? What the heck? What is wrong with me right now? Multiplicative. Oh my god. What is? I guess that's just a word I'm not allowed to say. For some reason, oof. Hopefully, they didn't just like break all the tension there with that silly moment, but it's a multiplying effect over all of this data just compacting down into you. I know it probably sounds crazy. Again, it's just a theory, right? Just something that I'm making up on the spot to be like, okay, maybe this is a reason why people act the way they do. And if you're someone out there listening to right now and you have the I love serial killers personality, it's like maybe it's just because you got passed down that memory instinct by enough people, and now that's why you act that way. And then the same thing for the guys of I Can Fix Her, right? They have enough of the pick your poison, I don't know, the Precious Angel one or the fixing one, probably both of those in combination, right? Of wanting to fix things, but also precious little angel, can do no wrong, etc., etc. I think I'm just going around in circles now, but I'm hoping my point was made. We've been here for 17 minutes now. Yeah, I just really want to hammer down the fact, not even talking about this whole serial killer thing anymore, with why I think women or men might want that. It's just a interesting thought to think about. That you actually have all of your parents' memories inside of you from the moment of your creation, or you might even go even further, like the 9 months you spent inside cooking, right? You might have been getting constant software updates. I know that sounds funny, but just it makes it easy to understand, right? You might be getting constant software updates while you're cooking for 9 months from your mom. Question mark, because obviously you're detached from your father at that point, but you're still getting 9 months of software updates of memories, question mark, and then you could gain any new kind of personality quirks, if not trauma. Again, maybe why you have such severe anxiety for no reason, like actually you just have severe anxiety even though nothing's ever happened to you, might be because something severe happened to your parents, or maybe not even your parents, maybe even their grandparents, somewhere in the line that got passed along via memory instinct to you, and you just got unlucky. You just rolled you had a bad roll, unfortunately. You got the bad data, question mark. But again, just a interesting thought, experiment, when I say experiment, to think about. Again, sorry if that's like a cognito hazard and all of a sudden you've been enlightened by what I'm saying, because it's not something you've ever thought about, that your parents' memories are actually all, like every memory they've ever had, right? Like, I don't know if I can express, like every memory they have ever had up to the point of your creation is inside you. Like they are your memories, because you're just a clone of them, right? You're just taking two people and putting them together, right? So why wouldn't you also gain that data along with it, right? But I think I've been rambling on for too long. Hopefully that was a decent amount of discussion, because I think this is applicable to this, because it's the whole serial killer thing, right? And the women loving serial killers is a stereotype. A stereotype for a reason, because some women, like very few, I'm assuming, are either obsessed with actual serial killers in jail right now or watch serial killer documentaries on the regular. And right, that's why we have all these serial killer shows and what, like didn't Dahmer come out and, like, that was being eaten up? And were they trying to like make you sympathize with these people even though you really shouldn't be doing that? Like they're trying to make them seem not evil. I guess that kind of goes with the I was gonna say narrative. I don't know where I'm going with that. it just goes with like them trying to make you like it. Because like, why would you want to watch something about someone like really evil and have them not trying to make you feel bad for them? Because like you're just watching something about a horrible person, right? I don't know. Don't listen to me about that part, right? But again, interesting thing to think about. I think we can just get into it. People are probably already tired of like hearing me ramble about this. Again, this is applicable to this. I'm telling you.
Bada bing, bada boom.
If you really want to know what somebody is into,
I gotta turn this in because I didn't realize that these videos are actually pretty loud.
you follow them at night. You do not follow them throughout the day, because during the day, we're all doing things that we don't really want to do, but we kind of have to do. We're going to work, we're going to school, we're running errands. But at night, that's usually when someone makes a choice. Regardless of sleep, the fact that it's dark outside, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to do this thing. And taxi drivers are the ones that get to see all of us in our dirty little glory. One taxi driver says, "You're awake when the world is asleep. It changes how you see things." The night shifts. Okay, a lot of taxi drivers have stated during the night, people are more open to sharing things about themselves that they probably wouldn't during the day. Maybe because it's dark in the car and they feel the need to fill the silence all of a sudden, and you just see weird things. One taxi driver said the strangest incident that he had was, this guy gets into the back. He makes eye contact through the rearview mirror. He's got this pent-up energy like something big is about to happen. Where to? The whole time, he's anxiously rubbing his hands on his thighs. He's gonna propose to the love of his life. It's like a beautiful thing to witness. The driver drops him off, wishes him good luck in the rearview mirror, and then a few stops later, he...
Is this what we're referring to as needy? Question mark. Are we actually talking about a victim of this woman? Question mark. And this is him being needy because he's going to ask to marry, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go again. Time to get rid of this guy? Question mark. Because that's too much commitment for her? Question mark. Also, I didn't get too much into the pretty part, but of course, if she's pretty, it just obviously just further amplifies the precious angel that can do no wrong thoughts process, right? Same thing with the other way around with guys, right? It's a bonus on top of whatever weird instinct data that you can't get out of your DNA, right? It's just a bonus on top of it.
He picks up the same man. Now the destination is a bar. The girl said no. Same person, same night, two very different car rides. Taxi drivers, they just know way too much about people. Not in like the psychic way, but the observational way, which I think is arguably a lot creepier.
At least he didn't get killed, this unnamed taxi customer.
Another one, the same taxi driver had a woman get into the back of his car. Quote, she silently cried the whole time in the back. Completely silent the whole ride. And then just says, "Thank you for not asking anything." And then walked away. She told him, "Thank you for not asking her if she's okay," while she's falling apart in the back of his car. One finance executive is picked up and he confesses to the taxi driver at 2 a.m. that this is his very first conversation in months. He doesn't talk to his wife. He doesn't talk to his kids. He has no friends. The only people that he talks to are people at work, and it's mainly through emails. And taxis all have a very specific smell at 2 a.m. It's usually people going out in the middle of the night, and for some odd reason, they spray a lot more perfume and cologne at night. Maybe
I was gonna say, what is it gonna be? Like cigarettes and freaking excrement? Question mark. Bodily fluids, actually what I should have said, because maybe they've had too much to drink and, you know, have heaved or gone to the restroom on themselves, etc., etc. I would assume it's something like that.
Maybe it's because they haven't showered all day and they're still headed out, or maybe because they're meeting someone who's gonna be able to smell them. It's that mixed with the sanitizing scent of the seats. That's the smell. Except one particular taxi driver in South Korea, he's on his night shift when the door opens. Beautiful 20-year-old woman gets in with 2 giant...
Why are we censoring her face right now?
...take-out bags of fried chicken, 2 heavy bags of fried chicken. He can smell it. The entire taxi cab suddenly smells like fried chicken now. She gets into the car, and the driver is trying his best not to stare at her chest in the rearview mirror, but it's just...
Why?
She's wearing a very unusually low-cut shirt considering how cold it is outside, and it's also the middle of the night, and she's got 2 bags of fried chicken. And he's picking her up from a local motel. Because, I don't know, you can ponder a bit further. She's the first to talk.
What, Love Hotel?
"Hurry, sir. Go fast. I'm being chased. I'll give you cash." And she's like, "Go, go, go." So out of just pure instinct, he's stepping on the gas, and she's leaning back, taking a deep breath of what looks like $100 worth of fried chicken, and then she starts taking a picture. She's almost smirking while she's typing something out on her phone. And the whole reason that this is odd is because the driver's on high alert. He's looking for
Well, being chased? Is she being chased by the police? Because, like, who else would be chasing her?
whoever could be potentially chasing this young woman in the middle of the night. Like, what happens if they catch up? But also, the fried chicken smell is very distracting. And she said someone is chasing them. But suddenly her demeanor is very relaxed in the back of the car, as if she's just getting a ride to a local coffee shop at 2 p.m., not 2 a.m. Everything about this ride, even though it's not one of the most outwardly outrageous rides that he's had recently, everything about this ride makes him uncomfortable. He can't stop thinking about it, to the point where he starts coming up with these random ideas of why she was in a rush, but not really. He comes up with this idea, maybe she wanted him to take her seriously and rush her home so that she could eat the fried chicken before it got cold. But if she had just said that, then he wouldn't have taken her seriously, so like maybe she just said, "Someone's chasing me." He's like thinking of all these weird scenarios until he turns on the news one day and he realizes the woman that he picked up that night is the motel serial killer, the newest female serial killer of South Korea. The one that netizens have said is too pretty to go to jail.
Sure. Again, the same thing happened in Japan, right? The yandere girl. Again, at least the guy didn't die that she tried to kill. I forgot why it was even going. That was a really muddy and messy kind of relationship those two had, right? Because were they both fooling around, or like I think he wasn't that interested in her, but like he was trying to be committed. I don't remember. Like maybe he was fooling around with other people. I can't remember. He is also a host, so it's kind of like his job, their job. 'Cause she was also a host, but I think she stopped. I think she was actually, quote unquote, escorting on the side, despite them being in a relationship with each other. And so she was escorting, quote unquote, wink, to get money to give to him because she was so obsessed with him, right? So she was cheating on him to get money to give to him because she was so crazy, question mark. But it's been a while since I've heard about this story, so I don't know if I'm getting all the details right, but I feel like that was something that was happening. Like she just kept trying to give more money and more money to this man to try to win him over as a host. Like, because he's a host, right? That's what you go over there and you give these hosts money, or you tip them, so they can be like the number one host of the club or whatever.
Today's sponsors have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support NAMI National, also known as the National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI is the nation's largest mental health organization dedicated to improving the lives of individuals. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Today's case involves the intentional drugging of individuals without their consent, also sometimes
She drugged them?
It's referred to as date R-word drugging, so please watch with caution. We did have help from our wonderful Korean researchers for translations for today's case, but if anything is misrepresented or miscommunicated, please let us know in the comments. Also, keep in mind that any quotes or statements have been translated and may be condensed for brevity. So with that, let's get started. Running clubs are like a big part of South Korea these days. If you search up running crew on Instagram, you get at least 200,000 posts from different running clubs that are packed with a bunch of young single people.
I've never heard of this before.
Clothing brands create running clubs in the city so that you can go run with people your age, to the point where they have these organized cops and robbers games they do at running gatherings. Okay, so community message boards will read, anyone up for cops and robbers tonight at 8 p.m., adults only, 20 plus, fast runners welcome.
Like 8 p.m.? Like, why at such a late hour so you can get like, you actually get killed, like you're asking to be killed?
What, it's a game?
Yeah, so half the people...
Question mark, though. I don't think anyone's actually going to be killed, right? I guess if it's a big enough group, right? If you have a large group of people, maybe it's more unlikely that's going to be happening. So they're playing cops and robbers. Is that going to be kind of like hide and seek? So maybe actually it is easier. I feel like if you're doing something like this is just prime real estate for some sort of psychopath to be like, to come over there and be like, this is easy pickings for me, right? It's something I've like thought about, like what situations are easy pickings, and I feel like that is one. Like if he decides, oh, I can at least get one person, I guess he or she, because it isn't, we're talking about a female doing the killing here. They can be like, okay, I need to get one person. What's an easy way to get one person? And they're like, okay, this will be it. Like these people are having this at the nighttime for some reason. I just got to catch one at night and then kidnap them, and then we're good to go, right? I guess you would have to like kidnap them, maybe some chloroform or something. Get them in a trunk, or like try to get them to your house and then get back to the event before it's over, question mark, to make it seem like nothing's wrong, like that person just disappeared and you've been here the whole time, right? Otherwise it looks suspicious that both of you disappeared, question mark. But I'm just I don't know, spitballing here, right? I'm not a like serial killer psychopath, so I don't know what would be like what you would actually want to do. But like stuff like that, or I think being from stories that I've heard on YouTube back in the day, being a pizza delivery person or just a food delivery person, which I guess is even worse now, because when I first originally had this thought, I was like, okay, it is not a good idea to be a pizza delivery person. I don't think DoorDash and stuff like that was that prevalent, but I think being a food delivery person is not that great, or at least a pizza delivery person. Because I think with DoorDash and whatnot, you could just leave that stuff on the ground. But like when I think of a pizza delivery person, they come to your door, they open the door, and you give them the pizza. right? You don't just like dump it on the porch and then leave. But yeah, like, I feel like that if you want an easy kill, it would be a pizza delivery person. Like it's late at night, you call them off into the boonies, out in the middle of the boonies, and then you get them free, right? You pick a place that you don't actually live at, right? You pick, okay, here, I know there's a abandoned estate here. Call them out there, they show up, you get them, and then you leave, right? Do whatever. Which is like, okay, probably don't want to be a pizza delivery person. So if there's any pizza delivery people out there watching, I'm sorry, or food delivery person even, I'm sorry, you have a new fear that you need to worry about, but and maybe you'll quit your job, or maybe you'll actually be worried at nighttime when you're delivering pizza that you might be told to go out somewhere to the boonies and you're going to get got. So maybe, think twice before delivering food out in the boonies. Maybe say to your employer, you know what, maybe I'm not going to deliver this one, and just take the hit, right? Because I feel like that's a very viable method of getting somebody. I don't know if it's ever happened, but I feel like it is, so just don't do it. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the trap. Don't deliver pizza out in the middle of nowhere at night.
People are cops, the other half are robbers, and you just chase each other in the park, and it's a bunch of like 25-year-olds chasing other 25-year-olds that they just met.
This is like a Korean thing?
Yeah, and it's like normal people go, because I think when you think of a message board like that, maybe in the States, it sounds like not a lot of normal people will go, and you'd be kind of scared.
Runners and
yeah, but just lots of normal young people go because it's so.
You'd expect a bunch of like, I don't know, like 5 weirdos to show up, and that's it. Not like 100 normies.
Hard to meet people these days. And Korea, there's also this like contextual nuance of usually when you meet people in a serious setting, everyone wants to know your age, your income, what you do for a living, who your parents are, and it's a very strict society of who you know is what you are. And so this running club, nobody asks what your job is. You just be chasing people. It will be 14 degrees outside, and there will be gatherings of people in their 20s and 30s.
Let's just say they have hammers. I call them eek hammers. The little hammers that have like the cushions on the different heads, whatever. I call them eek hammers because I don't know what which one it was. Was it Paper Mario Color Splash? I think they were called e-cameras in that game. I hadn't played, obviously, but I watched someone play it, and I swear they were called e-cameras, and ever since then, that's just what they call them. I don't know if they're called that, but they make the sound eek when you hit somebody, right? So they're like an e-camera.
Outside at the park, and it looks like some sort of corporate initiation. But they're just here to play tag in the freezing cold. It's just, are you a cop? Are you a runner? Start running. That's how younger people in South Korea will meet people these days. Or you can make it easier and just go to a hunting bar. A hunting bar is a bar specifically set up in Korea for singles to approach strangers and try. I
was going to say, like, what? A hunting bar? I've never heard of that. Also, why, when I saw this woman here and saw, like, the jacket on either side, I thought it was her legs. I was like, why are you sitting like that? Like, what the heck? But it's just her jacket. I guess, like, on her lap on either side.
Try to start dates. It's set up so there's a bunch of tables all circling a dance floor, and singles will walk from table to table asking if they can join them. So sometimes you'll have like a full table of women, and then a group of men will want to join their table, or tables of men and groups of women will come up and want to join their table.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's set up so singles are encouraged.
Is it cool? Question mark. I mean, I think it's just like it's not necessarily speed dating, but it's close to speed dating, like an evolution of speed dating.
It's very normal to go from table to table. So it's not like, oh, you need to know all these people to make friends at the bar.
It's like Tinder in real life.
Yeah, it's like speed dating in real life. It's weird.
Yes, speed dating means definitely on the same wavelength.
And then sometimes they'll pay for the drinks. Sometimes they'll get drunk, and then maybe they'll go to a second part for like the second half of the show, I guess. They'll go to a separate bar or a separate club. The hunting bar is specifically to meet people. But because you're meeting complete strangers, it is hard to vouch for everybody. Sometimes you meet someone at a hunting bar, and you meet them outside for a secondary date. And maybe it's without the beer all of a sudden or the dim lights, and they're just like a little weird. They're just weird. As dramatically as possible, it's like this tiny little part of Seoul is cursed. There's a group of guys. They don't know each other. They're not friends. They don't work at the same place, but they've all been to the local hunting bars. And after that, they've all been on some of the worst dates imaginable. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is this the worst thing to happen to a man? No. But these dates, they've just been so bizarrely odd. It's not even like your typical, we just didn't mesh well and it was a waste of time. It's like, this is very uncomfortable. I am contemplating the idea of never dating again, because the idea of going on another date after this makes them want to dry heave. Let's start with Adam. These are all fake names because these people have all maintained anonymity, even in.
Okay, so these people actually are relevant to what's going on here. I feel like my issue is if I was doing this kind of thing, or like heavily dating or trying to date, because I feel like the word dating doesn't mean to other people what it does to me. Like if you're dating someone, that's your girlfriend or boyfriend, right? So you have one of those. You are dating a singular person at a time. But I feel like nowadays / most people think that when you say you're dating, that means you have 5, 10 guys that you're dating at the same time, having relations with them, talking to them, doing stuff with them, whatever, right? And then you're trying to decide which one of them you want to be permanent. And maybe it's the other way around too. But that's not what dating means to me. Like, if you're dating somebody, that means they are your girlfriend or boyfriend, ? So, anyways, this is back to my original point. It's like, if I was trying to do anything, I feel like I wouldn't be at these places. I would be at these places to begin with, but if you're someone who would go to a club, to a bar, I feel like you're already out of the running for me. So they're meant, like, these places are meant for you to find people to be with, but if you're at this place, I already don't want to be with you, ? Right? Like, if you just, I mean, I guess bars and clubs are just not my thing, right?
In Korean. So Adam meets up with a 22-year-old woman. He ends up spending $213 on a single date, which is fine. But she never said thank you, not even one time. He paid for everything the whole night, not even a thank you. And that's not the shitty part. The shitty part is the whole date, she's texting another man the whole time, and he still spent $213. Ben, his head is spinning from this date. Okay, it was like a fake date. He's a 25-year-old woman he's on a date with. First of all, she doesn't even seem 25. What's weird is she looks younger than 25. I mean, she doesn't look underage, but she looks like maybe she's like 21, 22. Why would you make your age older? It doesn't. So he's confused by that. Maybe it's the skin. I don't know.
Because you're already an adult. Like, why try to make it higher? I mean, 25, I feel like, is a true adult. No offense to anyone who's under 25 who's listening to this. Just because I cannot get around the whole, frontal lobe doesn't finish developing till you're 25. The whole thing, right? I can't let that go. So I feel like you're not a real quote unquote adult until you're 25. So maybe that's why they're lying and saying they're 25.
No, it's weird. Why would you? He doesn't get it. But the whole date feels like a prolonged game of two truths and a lie. Every question he asks, she just be making up stuff on the spot, and he can tell. And he's so confused why. And it's stuff that it doesn't make sense that she would lie. He asks her, "How tall are you?" I mean, the evidence is right there. It's hard to lie about how tall you are when you're standing right in front of that person.
Though actually, I'm saying that with the whole 25 thing, it's not applicable here, because if we're talking about the serial killer, why wouldn't she just say random stuff? Why wouldn't she say she's 25? Why would she say she's 8 feet tall? Why wouldn't she say she weighs 300 pounds, right? Because she kills people. She's trying to kill people. There's no way she would give her real, quote-unquote, estimates, right?
And it's clear that she's perhaps 5'7", maybe even pushing 5'8". And in Korea, a woman being taller is a good thing. She's like, "I'm 5'4".
Yes,
like,
sir.
I'm so confused. He's just confused.
But like the woman's not taller than the guy, you're saying?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
just like a tall. Okay.
She's a tall woman, and that's usually seen as a very positive thing in Korea to be tall. It's almost model-esque, right?
Yeah.
But she's lying and saying she's 5'4" for genuinely no reason at all. And he's standing right there. He's like, "I see you. I can see how tall you are, and I know you're not 5'4". I don't understand." She's just blatantly telling so many lies with so many inexplicable inconsistencies. Even a toddler would think that she's a pathological liar. And she's so straight-faced with it, he can't even call her out. Also, she doesn't pay for a single thing. She orders the most expensive items on the menu, and she doesn't finish any of the food that she's eating before she just ravages more food by asking the waiter to get another plate of this. She's adding on to the order throughout the date, even though she's not even done eating. Not once does she say thank you, but the oddest thing is, quote, "Despite all of this, she came to the date in extremely revealing clothing on a bitterly cold day. Like, her entire chest is out." And he tells her multiple times, like, "Oh, zip your jacket up, because we're about to go outside and the wind is so cold. You should zip up your jacket." Eventually, he's getting tapped up. It's like, that's so frustrating. Like, just watching you makes me cold. So he reaches over and just zips up his jacket himself, because he's like, "Lady, think for a second. You're about to get sick." And she irritably unzips it all the way down so her cleavage is back out and just glares at him. And he's like, I thought I was being a gentleman trying to make sure that you're not getting sick. I'm so confused. Then another guy, Ethan, he meets a girl at the club. They start texting, and she tells him in a romantic way, "I want to see the beach." They plan a day trip to a local beach. While they're there, she says she has no money. And he's like, "Then why'd you come to the beach, bitch?" Okay? It's fine. He pays for all the food, all the beverages while they're there, which is fine. But she's ordering ungodly amounts of food. And then when they go to the convenience store to grab waters and coffee, she starts adding in like regular house things that she wants, like a little detergent, vitamins, feminine hygiene items.
Yeah, of course. I mean, she's obviously just going to milk these guys for everything they have. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't have a job, right? Her job is scamming and killing. Like, she gets guys to give her whatever she wants because they're going to do it, right? It's the chivalrous, dare I say, thing to do. Is just to give in to everything that she wants, ? On a date. And then if they want to actually be in a relationship with her, they get the knife.
Lip balms, face masks, skincare, just random things that has nothing to do with Ethan, and then just forces him to pay for it.
Okay.
But I guess Ethan is still really into her because he still meets up with her one more time after this god-awful beach trip. She comes over to his house for dinner, and when she leaves, he realizes 2 things in his house are missing. A baseball hat, like a cap, and a Starbucks gift card with $33 on there.
So she's a liar and a thief.
So he texts her, he's like,
why did she steal the Starbucks? How did she know like it wasn't like a dud? Like it already had all the money used off of it. Baseball cap could be used as a disguise. It has his DNA in it. If we're trying to like get in the mind of a serial killer, she stole his hat. So again, disguise. But secondarily, right? We gotta hide what we're doing. His hair follicles and DNA are in that hat, so it can get mixed up with hers, and then now he could be a scapegoat for the future, right? To kind of throw the cops off or whatever. If it comes down to that, clearly it didn't work because she's been caught, right? But if that was even the idea, because I feel like she is like kind of like thinking about these things. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's just dumb, right? But psychopaths are typically supposed to be smart. Like really smart, so I'm assuming she's just stealing clothing items like this as ways of having, other DNA mixed in with her stuff. Or maybe she's just crazy, right? I don't know.
did you maybe
Slash a kleptomaniac, maybe.
accidentally take my $33 Starbucks gift card in my hat? And she blocks him. Then a guy named Peng, he goes on a date with a girl on White Day. These are all very relevant stories, okay? He goes on
I forget who gives who stuff on White Day. I think on White Day, it's the guys give to the girls. And on Valentine's Day, it's the girl to the guys, like over there. Like White Day was made for men to give to women, I think. Which, by the way, I played White Day, a Labyrinth named School on this channel. I mentioned it in a post before, but if you want to go watch a horror game playthrough, I played White Day a few years ago.
a date on White Day. Holiday where men give candy to women.
Okay, it is. Yeah, the men to women, and then Valentine's Day for them is women to men.
It's like Valentine's Day.
Okay.
But White Day, right? And they meet in front of the Women's University station, the train station. They grab coffee, and the whole time she's like randomly pouring her heart out about how difficult her childhood upbringing has been. It's a little bit jarring because they just met, and she's almost in tears about how abusive her father is. And he does feel bad, but also he doesn't really know how to respond because it's out of the blue. So he's like, there. He's trying to comfort her, but also like, I want to go. He tries to maneuver the situation so he can leave, and it seems like she catches on because she starts coughing and banging on her chest, and she's like dramatically grabbing onto him, coughing.
He's trying to run away from the date?
Yeah, he's like, are you okay? My chest, it feels tight. He takes her to a nearby clinic.
Did she like mark him? It's like, okay, this one, I gotta kill this one? Question mark. Is that why she's putting up such a fight to keep him around? Question mark. Also, before we even get to this point, assuming she's not lying, I think it's kind of like common sense, but it is something that comes up, at least with like media, when people defend like bad people doing bad things in media, like not actual real people, but in media specifically. Trauma is a reason, not an excuse for bad behavior. Question mark, right? That's a decent sentence, I think. It's a reason, not an excuse. Like it explains why you did what you did, but it's not an excuse for you doing what you did.
He's contemplating leaving her at the clinic, but he's like, oh, God, I just feel bad. I guess I'll just stay. So he wastes his time waiting around for her to be seen by the doctor, and then she's crying about how miserable her life is. He then takes her to the pharmacy to pay for her prescription, which sounds really romantic in America because a prescription is like $10 trillion without insurance. In Korea, it's like a few dollars. Okay, so he's trying to pay for the $3 medicine. And she's boom, vitamins, tampons, herbal drinks, lip balm. And he's like, I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for $67 worth of shenanigans.
What is this? Why is her face? Is this just B-roll? Question mark? Or is this actually people? The second time we had this woman, not this woman, but a woman's face on the screen that's pixelated, censored. Is it her, or is it just random B-roll that they wanted to censor the person's face?
I'm just trying to pay for your $3 medication. And she's like, well, I need these to feel better too. He's so thrown off. He says, no, I'm just paying for the prescription. She's pissed. She storms off. He's left confused. But also, she did take the $3 prescription that he paid for, and he stormed out of there like he's the problem. Another guy named Frank, super relevant, I'm telling you, okay? Goes to a restaurant date, South Korea.
How many guys are there?
So many guys, okay? And they're all coming out, and they're like, let me tell you, okay? He leaves his wallet on the table, goes to the restroom. This is South Korea. You know what you do in Korea? You go into a restaurant, and you pick a table you like, and you put your phone and your wallet, your most valuable pieces of items on the table to claim it as yours. Nobody steals it. Nobody.
I was going to say, like, why would you do that? That sounds crazy, but I'm not North Korean. Oh, North Korean, Jesus Christ. South Korean. Like, I don't know why I said North Korean. I'm not South Korean, so that just sounds crazy, right? To just put that stuff on the table. I mean, I guess maybe I don't know if we do that here or not. I don't know. I'm not putting my wallet on the table. I mean, because it's attached to my body, question mark, because I have chain wallet, but it's attached to me, so it technically can't be done. Same thing with a phone. I don't want to put my phone, I don't use my phone, but I'm not leaving it on the table for someone to steal. But I guess that's just a societal issue in America, that you'd have to be worried about your things being stolen if you left them on the table. I don't know.
Nobody steals it. That's just how you claim a table. He leaves his wallet on the table.
Yeah.
His date is at the table too.
Yeah, and there's like bajillion CCTV cameras everywhere. So
But again, I feel like that's just free real estate for someone who's like a thief, professional thief. I don't know, but they're saying CCTVs, but I don't know. There has to be some sort of like super crazy pickpocket who could just walk up to a table, take your wallet, take the money out, and then put it back exactly where it was without being caught by cameras.
nobody really steals.
Yeah, nobody steals. So then he goes to the restroom, he comes back, and he's about to pay for the dinner, and all the cash in his wallet is gone. Like, not even just one bill, all the bills are gone, but his wallet is still there. His credit cards are still there. So he's like, what? He asks the date, do you know if like somebody just like came by and took the cash? She's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. They check the security camera because it's Korea, and she's just pocketing the cash. And the crazier part is, she's standing there watching the CCTV camera footage with them, and then she's just staring at them like, and what are you gonna do about it?
So what did they do?
She gave the cash back and then stormed out of there like he was the problem.
Wow.
Okay, we're almost done with these crazy dates, but there's this guy named Patrick too. And this
Patrick Bateman? Question mark. That's what his name is, right? So we were talking about serial killers. Like, how can you not think about it when not think about American Psycho, right?
Patrick guy, he's like, I should have known she was a problem, because the minute that we started texting, she sent me a list of restaurants I'd really like to go to, all $4 money signs. Not even like a variety. Like sometimes you gotta throw in some variety, right? No, all expensive. And she's just like has this weird obsession with food. She's messaging him nonstop. I love all kinds of meat. By the way, meat is pretty expensive in Korea. Grilled chicken thigh, pork belly, thick cut pork, black pork, beef, Western food, love it all. I love anything with meat. Okay? He takes her out on a date, and during that date, they have 2 full meals. At the end, she's like, can you buy me a hamburger and butter bread to take home? It's like she has this enormous, insatiable obsession with food. And the strange thing is, well, first of all, she doesn't pay for anything, which is like a thing. But also, on top of that, she never used the restroom. Like they were out the whole day, never used the restroom. And he was like, hey, you don't think I've paid like 10 times since we've been on this date. Yeah. Because it's like a 24-hour long date. You haven't paid once. You don't think that's weird? And she was like, that's weird. I gotta go pee. And then she just like went the minute that he pointed. Weird. Very weird.
Okay.
Yeah,
what is
so
going
weird.
on?
So all these people, they're like, I don't know what's going on. But what happens is,
And those are the lucky ones, right? Those are the ones who didn't get killed.
meet a girl at a hunting bar, go on a date with her, and it's been weird.
Oh, they all met at this hunting bar.
Soon, it will be revealed that every single one of
Well, hunting. It was more than just hunting for her.
these guys, they find out that they were on a date with the same woman. And she will be all over the news for being a serial killer who kills her dates.
Serial killer?
That's what they're calling her in Korea.
Okay, so he didn't even know that we're talking about a serial killer.
Sam, this is a pseudonym. He's about ready to go on a date. He's already told his close friends about this girl that he's going to meet. They've been texting back and forth, and she seems like the type of person that he could see himself getting serious with. He's at the age where he's thinking about getting married. He's been saving every single month to open up his own restaurant. He's a chef, and he's really nervous about this date. He gets on ChatGPT and he looks up, can you suggest what to say on a blind date? His date is also on ChatGPT right before the date, asking questions. Her searches include, what is a lethal overdose of sleeping pills? If you take sleeping pills with alcohol, can you die? And she's taking notes in her journal with each date. This dose doesn't even kill them. They wake up and become even more of a nuisance to me.
It's so crazy that we've entered the ChatGPT era.
Yeah.
Every case now, like we constantly talk about AI and ChatGPT.
Yeah, they're all searching some
Have they been doing that? I haven't been watching enough Rotten Mango to know that AI is playing such a big role in this. But if it's just Google, right? People just look up stuff on Google. It's just the same thing that you could have been doing for the last 20 years, but now you're just doing it with Chat GPT, question mark. No, I don't really use any of these kinds of things, right? I don't use AI outside of actually just, typing something in Google, question mark, which again, people have been doing for the last 20 plus years. I think I use Chat GPT once, right? And it was to try to think of like a good acronym for something. That's it. I don't plan on ever using that stuff again, just because I am quote unquote, hate to use the word, I am a quote unquote artist, so it is technically in my nature to be like, okay, I need to be opposed to AI, question mark. Though I don't think it really matters, right? AI is going to win. It's going to take everything over, and then we're all going to die from the AI apocalypse. And I'm just joking, right? But there's a non-0% chance that does happen, right? It's not 0%. There's a non-0% chance that we all die to AI taking over the planet. So it is a possibility, as silly as it sounds.
Bizarre things on
Yeah.
ChatGPT. Now, motels in Korea are not the same as the United States. I feel like the word motel has a very strong connotation with either affordable place to stay for the night or usually a place where scary things can happen just because of the way the buildings were set up and the locations. Korean motels are very different in the sense that they're everywhere. If you're on a street with karaoke bars and clubs, there's going to be a lot of motels. So it's used by a lot of passerbys, so business travelers, but also couples who still live with their parents. Because in Korea, you stay with your parents for quite a bit of time before you get married. So it's not like you just go out and live on your own where you can invite your boyfriend or your girlfriend over and do things you would do in a loving, consensual adult relationship. So couples will go to motels. Or couples who have just met each other and don't know each other's names and just want to have a good one-night stand, they'll go to a motel. But motels are also used by friends. A lot of friends, if they have a gathering of 10 friends who want to get drunk and play drinking games, but they don't want to go to an establishment and pay money for food and service charge and tip and this and that, they'll rent a motel room and just hang out in the motel room as if it's like a friend's house. Usually a younger crowd, because maybe their apartments, they still live with their parents or it's not enough space. So they'll just rent a cheap motel room. It's not unusual, and it certainly doesn't have the seedier connotation maybe American motels have. But the police, they walk into this cramped motel room. There is a man on the bed, laying on his side. He's rigid, and he's dead. Motel staff are hiding behind the motel entry. We saw him because we were trying to see if the room was ready for checking out, and we saw that there was like stuff in his nose. We think he's dead. The police are glancing around. There's nothing particularly alarming about the room. There's no signs of evident trauma. It doesn't appear that he passed with a sign of a struggle. There's no external injuries. This is not a self-exit. There's no gunshot wounds, stab wounds, no strangulation marks. There is, however, they're looking closely with their flashlight. There's small amounts of vomit in the mouth, airways. It looks like there's some swelling. There's some sort of congestion. That's about the only thing they can find. And that and his phone and a bottle on the nightstand. They're like, what is that? It's a bottle.
What? So did she give him the sleeping pills, or just like an alcoholic situation where you are too drunk, you don't have a gag reflex, so you heave and it gets stuck in your throat and you choke on it?
Bottle of hangover medication. It's like a detox drink that you consume if you want to avoid being hungover the next day. You can buy it at like the corner store. It's not really effective. Maybe it's more so the placebo. I'm sure it's got lots of electrolytes, so it hydrates you a little bit better than water, but it's nothing that serious. I mean, nothing that...
Or did she plant this to make it look like he died from an alcohol heave? I don't know what the technical term would be called for this. We're going to call it, just to save everyone from hearing anything gross, right? That's why I'm choosing my words carefully. Alcohol heave is what he died from. She's making it seem like that is how he went, rather than it's obviously being her killing him. But if there's any sleeping pill, like overdose stuff in his system, you'd think they would catch that and be like, okay, maybe this isn't exactly what it seems. But so far, this looks like she tried to set it up to look like he just died from alcohol heave. So, and she was never there, and it was just an accident on his part.
That would cause him to have some sort of medical reaction, that's for sure. Has his phone been checked? There is an unopened message on this man's phone, and it's a very lengthy message, and it's from a girl. It reads, oh, so I suddenly got my period, and I felt like I couldn't fall asleep in the motel room, so I decided to go home. And you had given me that wad of cash earlier for the taxi fare, which, by the way, our photo booth pictures were folded inside of it. I'll give that back to you next time we meet. Anyway, thanks for giving me the money for the cab so I wouldn't be cold getting home. Oh, and also, you ordered fried chicken using my phone, and we were watching a movie when your eyes glazed over and you suddenly fell asleep. I don't know if you remember, but when the food was about to arrive, I tried to wake you up a little bit, and you wanted to go back to sleep again. I told you not to sleep, but you seemed tired and kept wanting to sleep. So I asked you what to do about the fried chicken, and you said to eat it all by myself and just to take it home.
Is this when she grabbed all the fried chicken? So did she spend $100 of his money to get this fried chicken after she killed him? Obviously, this is the most not high IQ message I've ever seen. She's really trying to hammer it home that she had nothing to do with what happened to him, right? It's a very amateur-ish way of being like, oh, and by the way, you told me to do this, and you told me to do this, and you told me to do that, and I did this, and I left at this moment, and I was here. No, it's basically saying like, she might as well just said, I left at 9 p.m. and could not have been there when you died at 12 p.m., so don't come looking for me because I definitely wasn't there when he died. I don't know that he died. Just don't think about the fact that I said he died. Because I definitely didn't know that he died, and it was all my fault. It was not my fault? ? I mean, it just reads like that, right?
So since eating in the motel room alone while you're sleeping seemed lonely, I thought I would just take it back home and eat it at home before work. I packed it all up and left. It just felt lonely eating alone while you were asleep. Next time.
Just stop repeating. Like, she's repeating herself too many times. Like, you were asleep, you were asleep, you were asleep. It's so obviously amateurish. Like, I was trying to give her credit earlier. Well, I shouldn't be saying giving her credit, but you know what I mean. Like, giving her credit for being methodical is maybe a word. With her, stealing the hat and whatnot. Like maybe she's doing these things to throw them off. I don't know if that's even like a good idea, but I would assume, again, she took the hat because it has his DNA in it, and not just because she wanted to steal something. But maybe she is just dumb, because this is a stupid message. It's giving off vibes of I'm guilty, or I'm not telling the truth, or I'm overly compensating. Actually, is more what I should be. I'm overly compensating for something.
And let's just go out to eat together.
That sounds very goofy. Like,
Yeah.
You're just, it's like a confession note almost.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an investigator to think that this is weird. Usually people don't say things like, well, A happened, so then you said B, and remember how I said C, and now this is D, and now E, and so thanks. You just say, hey, thanks for the night.
Yeah.
This looks like meeting notes or a cover your ass email after.
She's giving them an entire rundown of what she did that night. She's writing down her alibi is essentially what that message was. Here's my alibi for why I didn't do it.
A meeting where you told everyone you knew something was not a good idea if they kept doing that, and they kept doing that anyway. That's what it sounds like. But then there's another message, a picture from inside the taxi. So it's like a girl is sitting in the back of the taxi taking a picture.
This is the taxi driver saying she was taking pictures. I'm in a taxi heading home.
The words, I'm in the taxi heading home. I know you got the room because you wanted to hang out together, but like I said, I happen to be on the period, so a lot of stomach cramps. And I had no pads. Then you gave me the wad of cash for the taxi and treated me to food, so thank you.
Again, just saying that you did this for me. You did this. You did this. I did this. I did this.
It's weird.
Yeah.
The police are like, who was in the motel room with him? The motel staff said, well, I mean, there was this woman. So they came in last night. He walked in with this woman. They didn't seem that drunk or anything. They just seemed normal, like a normal couple. And then I think a little bit while after that, some guy delivered fried chicken. And then like 10 minutes after the fried chicken was delivered, the woman left alone. The man's body is taken to a medical examiner, and it shows that he was drugged. These are all the drugs found in his system. 3 different types of antidepressants, sleeping pills, a benzodiazepine sedative, a cardiovascular drug, a Tylenol, and an antihistamine. And these are just the...
Okay, so she didn't even try, right? I mean, obviously they were going to check his system, so she didn't even try to be smart about it.
different types. It's not like the different pill. In fact, the amount of drugs found in his body, it was like 50 pills of different types of drugs.
What?
So it's only 3 different types of antidepressants, but it could have been 4 pills of each antidepressant. It's like a pharmaceutical cocktail. And a lot of them are prescription medications, which a doctor states the drugs found in his blood were essentially a standard pharmaceutical toolkit for a patient presenting with depression or sleeping disorders. So this is, we got to find someone who was prescribed these things because they were able to give this to him, administer it to him. And these are not fun drugs. This is not a situation where some people decide that they're going to try prescription drugs for fun and get high and then they overdosed.
Yeah.
These are not fun drugs.
And drugs are very controlled in Korea.
So according to his records, he does not have depression or sleeping disorder, and he was not prescribed any of these medications. And it's just an obscene amount of pills in his system. And the police know that they have a big, big problem on their hands because a homicide case in South Korea, in Seoul, is already very, very bad. It's a big deal. In Seoul, there's about 1 homicide per week, if even that.
What?
And this is the second one. Yeah, okay. In comparison, I think in New York, there's about 10 a week. New York City.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot more self-exits and other deaths, but in the manner, homicide is about 1 a week. And this is the second one. Not this week, but the second one with the same pattern. Young man in his 20s, passed out in a motel room, drugged. Deceased by the morning, motel staff discover, and motel staff report that he had walked in with a woman who quickly left after checking in. It happened just 11 days earlier, which one would imagine it's only a matter of time before another person ends up dead in a motel room. Police start investigating, and they
Does it take 3 to become a serial killer?
come across a man. He's alive. Barely, but he might know something. Please talk to him now that he's feeling better. He had spent 2 days in the hospital unconscious. What happened? Was he in a motel room? Did he
Okay, so she almost got a third one.
wake up in a motel room? He's like, no. December 14th, 2025. Noon. It's like 11:20 a.m.
This is not that long ago, so she is still probably on trial for whatever she did, if she even got in trouble to begin with, question mark. Because again, the whole slack thing for pretty girl, I don't think judges are going to do that, right? But especially not in I keep wanting to say North Korea, especially not in South Korea, where we keep talking about there being some sort of misogyny issue, question mark, though, that this entire thing has been the opposite of that. I feel like this is just men being nice to this girl, question mark. You'd think it'd be the opposite. They'd be like angry and mad and abusive and not doing anything, but it's been literally the opposite, right? They've just been shoveling money into her pockets this whole time. This entire first 20 minutes of this, well, we're actually 26, but the first, I don't know, 15, it's just them being nice, quote unquote nice to her.
When found dead.
January and February.
Oh, this one was a month ago. Okay.
So he's like, I was in the parking lot of this bakery with my girlfriend. And that's all I remember. That's it. Well, that, and she gave me this drink. Was it a hangover recovery drink? Like a detox drink? No, it was like a herbal medicine for fatigue because I've been really tired with work. I drank it, and then I don't remember anything else. I woke up in the hospital 2 days later. I was out for 2 days. He wakes up and he texts her, what did you put in that drink? The doctor told my mom twice that I could have never woken up. Like, it was that bad. the bakery, the owner, the employees, they've all been shaking in their boots, frightened beyond comprehension because they assumed it was something they did with the baked goods by accident. I mean, it was a very dramatic scene. The ambulance showed up. It doesn't make sense. But I'm alive now and I have no idea what happened and she won't talk to me. And the police are taking notes and they ask if that woman, if his girlfriend looks familiar to the woman in the 2 motel CCTV footages. He's like, yeah, that's my girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend, 20-year-old Kim So-young. 20.
20.
Oh, this is an ad break. What do we got? We got Apex. What is Apex? There's no way it's like Apex Legends. What is this? This is a movie?
There is only one rule in this story. Survive. In the
Okay, it must be a movie. Do we have like... it's Apex on Netflix. So she's talking about a movie called Apex on Netflix. I guess go watch that if you want.
And she's not a hard woman to find. In fact, she's not even hiding. Police arrest her at her house, and just 30 minutes before her arrest, she had just posted another selfie on Instagram. And in the motel footage, her face is out and about. It's not like she's wearing a mask and hiding, and then she's just on Instagram posting her face. And all of these selfies, she posts a lot of selfies on Instagram. She's always pouting at the camera while subtly but not subtly emphasizing her cleavage with the hashtag followers welcome, hashtag cool tongue beauty, follow for follow, mutual follow, likes, DM. They bring her in for questioning, and she innocently tells them, I didn't know they died. I didn't think it was that dangerous because I also take these meds myself. They're like, well, why would you give them meds that they're not prescribed? And she said that she was just drugging these men because she didn't like dealing with conflict. She's like, I'm so conflict adverse. I was just trying to put them to sleep. She's saying, they would spend hundreds of dollars buying me food, and I'm assuming that they want to do it afterwards. And I don't want to do it, so I would just put them to sleep. She's like, I just didn't.
Okay. Is that actually the reason or not? I mean, I could see that, right? Because obviously, again, that is what some people might expect, right? They're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars, assuming that this person is going to become their girlfriend, or they're at least going to, I don't know, fool around later. But again, so that could be the case. And she's like, she just knows that they're going to want to fool around, so she goes out with them, knowing that she's going to milk them for everything they got, and then drug them to not have to deal with the backlash. The backlash, but not have to deal with the aftermath of them having to spend so much money and they're getting upset that they're not getting anything out of it other than the date itself. ? Which then you could argue, okay, now we're getting into the South Korean quote unquote misogyny thing, but that's assuming that they're even wanting to do that and whatnot. So we could just give them the benefit of the doubt, assuming like, hey, they're just giving her all this money, but they didn't necessarily expect some sort of like one night stand out of it. Because I feel like it almost like she wants them to be at the hotel, right? She wants them to be at the motel. She's drugging them and whatnot. But I don't know. We don't have enough evidence to know if she even is a serial killer yet. Maybe she's not a serial killer and she's just really stupid. Because again, I was assuming that she is a serial killer, which means she must be a psychopath, which means she must be really intelligent. But maybe she isn't those things and she's just really stupid, which means she actually wasn't trying to kill them. They just happened to die because she's dumb. ?
I didn't want them to be like a nuisance and try to, initiate these intimate relationships.
No, that sounds kind of harsh, right? Saying that maybe she's just stupid or dumb. We are talking about someone who killed 2 people, so I think it's okay for me to say that. Either maybe stupid was too hard of a word, too harsh of a term. So again, like dumb would have been better, right? I am saying dumb, but I feel like stupid just came out too sharply in case anybody gets mad at me or get left a hater comment because I called this quote unquote serial killer stupid, ? Again, even I thought what I just said, calling her stupid, was a bit too harsh. That goes back to the thing I was discussing at the beginning where, again, some men might have the instinctual trait of don't be mean, don't be too harsh to women. Again, precious angels, they can do no wrong. So I did feel like I was being a bit too mean there when I said stupid, but maybe everyone in the comments or whatever it was watching is like, no, she's a serial killer, you don't have to be so nice. But again, what could you do about these quote unquote memory instincts?
Relations with me, so I would drug them, and I guess 2 of them just happened to die.
So she does admit to
Yeah.
killing them. Okay.
A post starts going viral in South.
Well, I mean, she's admitting to manslaughter, not murder, which is at least better for her, right? Again, maybe she is crazy and is a serial killer and she's just pretending to be dumb. that she can get away with manslaughter instead of first degree murder? Question mark? Is that what this would be called? Is it first or second degree? I don't know the difference between those. I know the difference between manslaughter and regular murder, but not murder first and murder second. Or murder, is there murder third degree? I don't know.
Clearly a very, very distraught man, and he's asking for advice. Would it be so bad to be pen pals with a motel killer? Hear me out. She's pretty. Normally, it's not easy to date someone that pretty. If she gets life in prison, maybe I could write letters, put some money in her commissary, visit her every now and then. I had a pen pal with a regular female inmate before. She would call me babe and act all cute while writing. And then she got out and started cheating on me, so we broke up and I was devastated. But with someone serving life, which I'm assuming she's gonna get life in prison, right? She can't go anywhere. She'll be in prison forever.
Well, again, if she doesn't get, oh my god, if she isn't given manslaughter instead of murder, and they fall for her trick of she didn't do it on purpose, right? Granted, she wasn't looking at that stuff on GPT or whatever. If they fall for her dumb act, then she might get manslaughter. Then maybe she doesn't go to life or prison. And I feel like this thought process that this man is having right now is the same thought process that, like, women who are doing the same thing, right? Trying to be a pen pal with serial killers in jail. I'm assuming it's the same thing, same coin, just different sides of the same coin.
Isn't it actually, like, kind of okay keeping in touch just until she dies? After Kim So-young's arrest, netizens start circulating pictures of her most recent Instagram pictures, her photo shoots, and they have dubbed her, police have dubbed her a serial killer, even though I think in the US it's like 3 people or more have to be.
Yeah, I was saying it doesn't have to be 3, so it's only 2, and she's essentially trying to plead manslaughter over murder.
Victims, but there are 2 victims, and she also drugged countless other guys who thankfully survived. But they've dubbed her the motel serial killer, and netizens in South Korea have dubbed her the prettiest killer alive. In Korea, there's a whole legal process of releasing identities of perpetrators, even if they're adults. There has to be certain criteria met, so the prosecutors have yet to release Kim So-young's age and name. They have now, but at this point in the story, they haven't released her name yet. But netizens are quick. They're spreading her social media pages on internet forums, and it's not exactly the reaction that people were expecting. Because usually when people start outing perpetrators, it's like a wave of hate. But people are like, whoa, she's so pretty. Netizens.
Again, it's like, I've already talked about it, right? But she's pretty, so that helps the data in your body that says can do no wrong, innocent angels that can do no wrong, and then pretty helps that. Like, if she wasn't that attractive, like, we have to be real here, right? We do live in a society, even as dumb as that joke is, right? Whether it makes sense for me to say that or not, we do live in a society, and if she was less attractive, they probably would not be flocking to her, but because she is, it facilitates the memories of I can fix her and or can do no wrong. There's also what the other guy was saying, where he wanted to be pen pals with her in jail. It could be, this is another theory here we're going to go on, where trying to date nowadays is allegedly really hard. I wouldn't know, but it's really hard. Nobody wants to be with anybody. It's all hookup culture, whatever, right? If it's really that hard to be with anybody, you would see someone who is a murderer as bottom of the barrel, right? Nobody wants to be with a murderer. That means I have a chance, because in any other light of the day, this pretty 20-year-old would not want to be with me. But now her options are extremely limited, right? You would think. But if enough people like this have that idea, then she is still just a prime commodity among them, right? But I'm assuming that's the thought process behind this, is that now that she has killed, she has now become I don't want to say sullied commodity, but she's become something that some men are not going to want to be with, right? So they think that now they are the only ones that would actually want to love her. So it's just, oh, finally somebody I can get with, right? You know, if what I'm saying is making any sense. I don't know if I have to explain it any better than that, but I think that I'm getting my point across of how this person is probably thinking. But then, enough people end up thinking that same thing, then it's like, no, you're still in the same boat. You have a bunch of men chasing after this one girl, right? So nothing has changed, right? She's still a pretty girl that men are flocking to, who want to be with her. Nothing has changed. But they're kind of thinking like, okay, she's done this, now she can be a special person just for me, because no one else is going to accept her. Like, I have to be the one to accept her. So there's also, saying it like that, there's also a little bit of hero complex. They have to come save her now that she's been almost essentially put in a castle. Like, prison is the castle that she's locked away in, and now they get to come in here and be her white knight, their hero, to come save her. Right? So there's a little bit of that in there too, if you want to say it, if we're trying to get into weeds and try to have some sort of psychological analysis of this. Like, I'm not a psychologist. Don't listen to anything I'm saying in this video. But I feel like there's a little bit of that in there too, which goes along with the I can fix her mentality. And also back to the memory instincts as well, where you'd argue that the hero complex is another thing that's been passed down among men for generations. So that's also just data that's implanted into you that you can't get rid of them having that. So there's some of that here too. I don't know if I can go too much further into that, like if I can try to make more sense, but I think that's decent enough, right? There is a little bit of hero complex there. But like, now I can be her one and true boyfriend, right? Because I can come save her from prison. No one else is going to want to be with her, right? So I can be her true one. I can be her hero. And she'll only love me. But then, of course, that's not the case, because all the men still want to be with her because she's pretty. Pretty privilege, we'll throw that word in there too, I guess. You could probably use the same thing with serial killers, but I think serial killers, but I think they can get away with being less conventionally attractive, right? Because I think the defender, protector thing supersedes that a little bit.
People start outing perpetrators.
The need for being attractive. On the other end, where men, like, the stereotype of their visual creatures, so that probably helps as well. Like, the pretty part helps because men being visual creatures and thus can activate the other things I've been talking about.
Social media pages, on internet forums, and it's not exactly the reaction that people were expecting. Because usually when people start outing perpetrators, it's like a wave of hate. But people are like, whoa, she's so pretty. Netizens also noticed that in her Instagram post, she doesn't have a single picture with anybody else. None. Not even one where she's sitting at a restaurant and someone is sitting next to her, but she covers their face. She has 0 pictures with anybody else.
Well, yeah, because she's been killing them, isn't actually with anybody. She's just out there trying to game the system.
People are saying, this is kind of odd. She doesn't have any friends, she doesn't have any family, but she's going on so many dates. This is weird. Other people are saying that she seems to have a fixation on this song that is, now in hindsight, a little bit creepy. It's called Damon's Year by Josie, and the translated lyrics read, whenever you look at the moon, your eyes get bigger. Which people are like, this sounds like when people are really drugged up. Looking at the reflection in your eyes, what you love is the same as me. I see you. Without knowing the flowers are blooming, hugging your fine shadow, kissing you like it's the last time. Let's not get old. Take it all so there's no regrets. Leave nothing behind, my love. Good night, my crying love. And in between her second victim's death and her arrest, she posted 41 Instagram stories in post. She's obsessed with posting online. But the thing that becomes almost a second crime is what I said. Everyone thinks that she is the prettiest killer alive. And by everyone, I mean just like a small portion of the internet, and they're very loud about it.
Well, I mean, it's just whoever's in South Korea is seeing this, who knows about this, right? I'm assuming the same thing was being said about the yandere killer well, she wasn't a killer, but the yandere woman in Japan, right? So it's called the yandere killer, but she didn't actually kill anybody, right? She attempted to, but he still lived. He made a recovery, despite how many times she stabbed him like a lot of times, like a double digits, I think.
That men in South Korea were going to vouch for her in the comments, like, if you just release her to me, I'm sure I could fix her for you. She's got like the girl next door look, slightly innocent way, except all of her Instagram pictures show.
Is that Korean girl next door? That's not what the girl next door looks to me, right? I guess that's just what the girl next door looks like for Koreans. Because when I think of girl next door, I think of Taylor Swift from the one song where she's a dork/nerd looking through the window. That's girl next door to me. I've mentioned this song before. Liked it as a child. Teenager, I should say. Is it You Belong With Me? Is that the song? I don't think it is. Question mark. Also, probably should get off of this cleavage. I think Stephanie's about to talk about this woman's cleavage, but we'll back up real quick. And let me look up the name of that song. All right, so it is that is the name of the song, You Belong With Me. Did I say that you belong to me? Like, you belong with me. this. So this is what I think of like Girl Next Door. Of course, Taylor was an attractive woman, so it technically doesn't really work. But you know, nerd, weird clothes, maybe glasses, maybe even weird hair. It's something like this, but like nerd. Like this is what I think of like Girl Next Door. Had in a book, I guess. Question mark. And listened to this a lot on MTV back in the day as a teenager. I scribbled all over the screen just in case YouTube is like, you're not allowed to use this. Your video's copyrighted. Screw you. It's literally just a still image of Taylor Swift. It's just a picture of Taylor Swift. But I scribbled out the background just in case it like tries to see, like, oh, we third-party matched this image. You must have played the song in your video. Screw you. So no. So scribbled. That's the only reason I scribbled to wrote fair use on the screen. So just ignore that. But yeah, this is Girl Next Door, right? To me, anyways, question mark. So of course you can downplay it even more, right? She doesn't have to be, you know, a pretty, quote unquote, pretty girl like Taylor Swift was. Like, you can make her more, I don't know, how do I even say, I'm not even going to say anything weird. Just like, she doesn't have to be that pretty, right? I just think if you say Girl Next Door, I don't know what people normally think about, but I think a dork, right? Cute, but dork, nerd, goofy, loser, whatever, right? Not some model, right? This girl is trying to be like, I don't know if she's trying to be, but like influencer model, whatever.
Of the internet, and they're very loud about it. Men in South Korea were going to vouch for her in the comments, like, if you just release her to me, I'm sure I could fix her for you. She's got like the Girl Next Door look, slightly innocent way, except all of her Instagram pictures show lots of cleavage. So like her face looks innocent, but her boobs are always out. All the pictures.
Does her face look innocent? Is that what an innocent face looks like in Korea?
They're angled, so it's like the main focal point is her chest. It's usually from the top down angle. That's the type of picture that she likes to post. And some men in Korea really, really, really want to save her. So for the past 4 months, Kim So-young has been very busy, and they don't care. So the police are like, hey, guys, stop with this nonsense. We're just gonna let you know what this crazy lady has been doing so you know what you're dealing with. October 25th, 2025, at a restaurant in Gangnam, a man named H collapses while drinking white wine with So-young. She calls 911, or the emergency line. He was just drinking white wine and just suddenly collapsed. Yeah, just come quickly. She's so nonchalant. Employee says the whole thing was weird. I clocked in at 5 p.m. There was a couple at one of the tables. Man was slumped over asleep on the table. At first, I thought nothing of it. But then 30 minutes later, he's still like that. So I'm like, okay, something is clearly wrong. I approached them. I just figured up until this point, if the woman needed help genuinely, she would have asked for it. But when I went over to ask her if she needs help, she told me he was passed out drunk. So I asked her, is that your boyfriend? She says, we've only been dating for like 2 days. I don't even know his drinking tolerance. The server checks the tab. They only had 2 glasses of wine ordered to the table. And the glass of wine in front of the boyfriend has a lot of wine left in it. It just felt off. Do you want me to call the emergency line for you? Sure. She calls the emergency dispatch, hands it to So-young, and So-young's like, I barely know the guy. We were just drinking white wine and he passed out. 2 months later, December 14th, 2025, 11:20 a.m., So-young tries to kill her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend in the bakery parking lot. He's hospitalized for 2 days, unconscious, and she's there playing the doting girlfriend. But when she gets home, she writes in her journal, specifically that day, dose only knocked him out. It didn't kill him. January 24th.
She's trying to kill him, right? So I think the journal is saying enough about what's going on. Like, she actually is trying to kill these guys.
2026, a man is in a karaoke bar with a girl he just met, private room, collapses on the ground. 911 is called. She says, he just won't wake up. I didn't know what to do. I just met him. I'm here for the first time.
I feel like if enough people start collapsing around you, people are going to get suspicious, right? Again, is she just... like, I don't know what her motive is, like, right? That was asked upon me, I'm pretty sure, is to try to figure out her motive here. And it just seems like, I don't know. She seems dumb, but then, like, is that actually the case? So before it's like, oh, she's dumb, she doesn't know what she's doing, that she wants you to think that she's dumb, right? With the whole trying to get manslaughter instead of murder. But I don't know, I feel like we just need to know more. Maybe she is just a psychopath. If she truly is just a psychopath, well, then there would be no need to understand, right? She just wants to kill because if you're a psychopath, you believe everyone around you is just an NPC to be played with for your amusement, right? Other people aren't actually humans. You're the only real human alive. Everyone else is just a thing. Right? So you don't need motive. If everything is just things to you, you can do whatever they want. Things that belong to you, you can just do whatever you want with them.
I'm on a date. I don't even know his home address. Like, how am I supposed to take him home? The ambulance comes, and side note, the owner of this karaoke bar said the woman, she paid and she tried to leave alone without the man. And the man wouldn't wake up no matter how much we shook him. And it's actually company policy. If you come and get a private room, you can't leave any of your friends drunk. You have to take them with you because the business does not want to be liable for these drunk people who are passed out in these private rooms. And she's telling us, just wake him up and kick him out when you get the chance. We're like, no, our policy says you cannot leave your companions. So I told her that, and that's when she rolls her eyes and she called emergency dispatch. There's a guy here who's really drunk, and I keep trying to wake him up and he won't get up. He's had way too much to drink. I don't even know where he lives. This is my first time meeting him. Are you trying to take him home or are you trying to take him to the hospital? I don't know. I don't know where he lives. Like I said, I just met him today. Okay, we'll send medical and police. Her 5th and 6th victims were both found dead in motel rooms, and the method of killing was the same in both. The hangover drinks in Korea. They're sold at every convenience store. They're marketed as helping your body process alcohol faster. It's like a detox. Soyoung would go home and using the back of her kitchen knife, she would crush up all of her prescription pills that she is prescribed for PTSD. She uses a piece of paper, funnels them into the hangover drink, and throws those in her purse for dates. And when she goes on it, and what's crazy about these dates is nobody approaches her. She religiously goes to the hunting bars looking for dates. She's always on Instagram at local community posts and writing things like, you like bowling? I like bowling too. We should bowl together on random guys' pages. She's initiating these dates. Once she goes on the date, she'll be drinking with the men and she'll look up with them with a warm smile and say, oh, I have something for you. Remember how I mentioned in our text messages, I always get really bad hangovers for work and it sucks? Which, by the way, the police found evidence of these types of messages. She would say these things before the date. Well, I always carry around these hangover detox drinks to just make sure the hangover isn't bad. Here, you should try one. Instead of sobering up, these men would take the hangover drink. They would suddenly start feeling nauseous, as if the world is getting distorted. Their stomachs would start churning, their tongues get stiff, they can't talk, they lose consciousness. And Soyoung would just stare at them. There's no particular blend of prescription pills that Soyoung cared about. It's not like she was some sick, twisted pharmacist. She just took whatever she could get that was strong. She would collect prescription pills. They call it medical shopping. So it's when you go around to various psychiatric clinics to get prescription meds and just pick up at various pharmacies. And there's no sort of regulated system in Korea where certain drugs can be bypassed. Obviously, you're not going to get controlled substances. I imagine like in the US, it would be easier to get maybe 2 different SSRIs prescribed versus getting 2 Adderall prescriptions because it's not a controlled substance, the SSRIs. There's not much of an oversight system that can prevent people from doing this. And she's just experimenting with different dosages and increasing the concentration to affect the victims. It's like she's researching. And the weirdest part of each
It did seem like that, right? She's writing in her journal, like, this didn't do that, this didn't do that. All he did was pass out. He didn't die, yada, yada, yada.
is her obsession with food. She's obsessed with food. All she does on these dates is consume and order large quantities of food. It's not even like it's weird. She likes the food, but it seems like she likes the idea of food more. It's almost like she likes the idea of spending every single dollar she can get out of these men. Like, for example, just to give you an idea, the fried chicken that she ordered, well, first of all, that was after her second victim died in the motel room. She was laying there as he's dying on the motel bed, took his...
Yeah, I'm assuming she used his phone or whatever and bought the chicken after the fact, or like she's saying during the fact that he's dying. She's like, it wasn't something that happened before. She was like, oh, he's dead. Now I could just use all his money.
Credit card and ordered fried chicken to the motel room and waited in the motel room while he's actively dying in the motel bed for the fried chicken order. And this is a huge order with 22 items. Because I feel like with inflation in the US, $100 worth of fried chicken sounds like a lot of fried chicken, but just to give you an idea of how much chicken it really is. 2.5 chickens in 4 different flavors. Tteokbokki, instant rice, drinks, sauces, black cheese ball, extra devil sauce, red pepper mayo sauce bottle, big cheese stick, instant rice, oil tteokbokki, onion ranch sauce, extra, tricolor ball, 3-piece, Coke Zero ×2, extra rice cakes, potato wedges, red pepper mayo sauce, big bottle.
All of that?
Yeah.
For $60?
Do they have that? They ordered it? Where did they get this? Did they get this from her, or did they go to this place, order all this food, so they can have a physical representation of what she had ordered? Because I feel like there's no way they still have all this stuff. So it feels like if that is what they did, that's like silly, right? They had to go to the restaurant, order all this stuff, and then use it as evidence of what she had ordered. Also, I'm guessing some sort of sauce. Why does it look like baby oil? Question mark.
Yeah. And the delivery guy, he remembers Kim So-young too. He's delivering the fried chicken. And, well, by the way, the owners of the fried chicken shop, they were so excited because business has been slow. This is one of their biggest orders. So they were really excited to get the fried chicken hot to the motel. And the driver's like, they're all on the same page. They're rushing to get it there. And he goes and he's like, I feel like I have the wrong address because this is enough to feed, honestly, 10 people. 10 people could eat this fried chicken and be full. And so he's expecting some sort of crazy party in the motel room. The door...
Again, food delivery person, one of the worst jobs you can have. Delivering this chicken at nighttime. She could have been like, hey, why don't you join me? And then all of a sudden you're dead. You can't be delivering food. We got to start getting robots doing that stuff. I'm telling you. If you are delivering food right now, if you're a pizza delivery boy or a girl, you got to stop. One day you're going to get a call at like 12 p.m. Deliver some pizza, deliver some food, and then you're going to get got. You got to stop.
Door opens, no sound. No TV on, nothing, dead silent. And Kim So-young, she has the weirdest blank expression on her face. It's so entirely blank. It's not smiling. It's not angry. It's just empty. He doesn't know how to explain it. It's just empty. Her blank expression. It's freaky. And he's like, it's heavy. It's a lot of fried chicken. Yeah. And she just takes it and closes the door. He was like, it was just unsettling. But even with all this information, there are some netizens who believe that she can't be evil because look at her Instagram pictures and she's only 20. Why would she need to be a serial killer? Netizens started holding on to dear life on the one statement that she made to the police that she wanted to avoid confrontation with men. So some people are like, maybe the men were asking for it.
So, okay, a couple questions.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the reverse of what is normally said. Like, that is something you usually say, which is a bad thing to say, but it's almost ironic to use that phrase specifically. Maybe they were asking for it. You know, maybe they were asking to be killed, when it's usually the reverse. Again, is being used toxically, right? Maybe the women were asking for it, you know, when it's assault, right? Extracurricular assault. The term, maybe they were asking for it, or they were asking for it, was being used. So that's a very ironic statement to use, of like, maybe the men were asking for it, you know, them being killed. Both ways is like not okay, right? I'm not defending the other way. I'm just saying it's ironic that that's a phrase that's being used when, like, in either case, it's not okay to say that.
Yeah.
Right? Is she just a liar? Why is she lying about making her age older and
She's just,
shorter? And
yeah, I think she's a pathological liar. And
just like to, okay.
Could be pathological, but like I said earlier, if you know you're trying to kill people, if you know that you're a serial killer, you know you're a psychopath, you know you're trying to kill people, why would you ever give anyone in the world anything that's true about yourself? The mask always has to stay up, right? So no, I'm not this height, I'm not this age, I'm not this, I'm not that, right? You cannot give any information out.
yeah.
And then you're saying, like, the journal she's writing, oh, this didn't kill him. Are there more?
Yeah, she's just talking about dosages, but nothing else in her journal.
Okay, so that's the only information we
Yeah.
have. She didn't write after she killed someone. She didn't write, oh, that worked or whatever.
I think she did, but it was very simple. Like, it worked, doubling dosage next time. Some people are saying maybe she genuinely thought, maybe these guys were being sexually pushy. And she just thought that she could make them pass out so that she wouldn't have to be pressured to have intimate relations with them after the date. Comments read, he was a stranger that followed her. You know, he kind of asked for it. The guy must have been acting up for her to want to sedate him. She takes the same pills herself. She probably didn't think that he would die. She said she was just trying to put him to sleep. There must have been a reason. Like, I'm curious about her past. But the doctor who worked on this case, they state, even if she only wanted to sedate these men, she would have only needed one sleeping pill. Why was there a cocktail of antidepressants and other drugs on top of that? The combination clearly goes beyond what's needed for sleep.
Yeah, I mean, she's already saying in her journal that she's trying to actively kill these people. Like, the excuse of they were asking for it doesn't work. Just like it doesn't work the other way around, right? It doesn't work this way either.
Little by little, people start putting in tips, and more information about Kim So-young's entire family and childhood start coming out. Her dad was violent. He would come home drunk, assault their mother, urinate and defecate everywhere in the house. She seems to have some level of PTSD, as described by her doctor. Dad leaves. Mom works through the night to support two kids, but that doesn't mean that she can just go kill people. And on top of that,
Yeah, so whatever was being said earlier, that is true, right? 'Cause she was saying that to somebody, right? One of these guys. She was talking about her trauma to him, question mark, quote unquote, if we want to use this term, trauma dumping to him, about her childhood. So what was he? He was violent. Did they have any money? Question mark. Is that where the food thing came from, or what? They did not have any money, so they didn't have any food typically. So now she just wants to gorge herself on as much food as she can get from men, specifically because her dad was a man, and thus man equals evil. Thus she must take out her revenge on all men. Question mark. Whilst getting a bunch of food out of them at the same time, because she didn't get that much food growing up. I don't know.
there's just a lot of alarming stories coming out. She
already said it, but like, again, trauma does not excuse your behavior. It just explains why you did the things you did, but it doesn't give you a reason to do those things. Well, you know what I'm saying. However I said it earlier, it was like perfect, right? Trauma is it is a reason, right? It's the reason why you did things, but it's not an excuse for doing those things.
She dropped out of middle school, later was expelled from high school. Even part-time jobs, a lot of her former employees and bosses, like coworkers and bosses, would come out and they said she got fired and couldn't hold down a job for such a long time. She would consistently manipulate coworkers against each other and just cause so much dysfunction in the workplace, it was impossible. She suffered from physical and verbal abuse from her childhood, but that doesn't really negate any of the things that she did. Stories from her childhood just start piling on, and people say, if she's around, your glasses, your wallet, your lipstick that you've been using for 3 years, like, it doesn't matter how old or useless these items were, they would just disappear. Like, this girl.
Yeah, she's a kleptomaniac. I already used that term earlier. It seems like that could be attributed to her stealing the money, stealing the Starbucks card, stealing the baseball hat. She's just a kleptomaniac, which makes you think of like the Breakfast Club, right? The kleptomaniac in Breakfast Club. Whenever I use that term, I'm automatically going to assume her from the Breakfast Club. But yeah, I was just assuming she's a kleptomaniac on top of everything else.
Girl has sticky fingers. One girl got her AirPods stolen in middle school, and she goes on to Carrot, which is like eBay, or like Facebook Marketplace, to just buy another pair of used ones because she's like, I don't want to buy new AirPods. She goes on there, and someone is selling one that looks exactly like hers. I don't know if she had like a sticker on there, but what are the odds? So the girl goes to her homeroom teacher in middle school, and she's like, I want to do a sting operation. I'm pissed off. I want to go and act like I'm buying these used AirPods, and I want to see who's selling my stolen AirPods. They arrive to the meeting spot, and guess who it is? Middle school-year-old Kim So-young. And they're asking her, like, how could you do something like this? And her reaction is so blank. She just says, yeah, whatever, you want it back or not? And hands the AirPods back. Speaking of resale, people found her Carrot website, like her account. She has over 100 items listed on sale for Carrot, and suspiciously, they're all men's clothes, and it's not even that expensive. It would be like a $56 blazer.
Okay, so that's why she was stealing the clothes, right? Again, I thought she was trying to be some sort of like 5D chess, right? Of stealing clothes to get evidence, to get DNA to kind of cover up her DNA, but like, no, she's just doing it. She's just kleptoing these things to be sold for money. She's doing anything but working, right? Stealing to resell, getting men to buy her as much food as possible. Maybe she's just hungry, right? Because she doesn't have a job or any money, right? So she eats as much as she can off of the guys before she throws them away.
$19 button up, a $23 shirt. There's a lot of interesting things happening there. But the one thing about the middle school, the AirPods, is she distinctly remembers her AirPods got stolen. So-young is caught selling them. She gets expelled from middle school, kicked out, transferred. And So-young is the one that goes and unfollows everyone from middle school on social media. Not only that, she blocks them. She mass blocks them as if they all stole from her. Another story comes out about a girl that went to a club with Kim So-young, and she said, I immediately just got a really bad vibe from her. She was always asking me really invasive questions like, I'm so jealous you have your own place. How much money do you have?
Could this have been the first woman she ended up killing? So she's going to kill her and like body snatch, basically, live her life?
Why can't I just come live with you? Why don't you introduce me to a boyfriend? Later, at a youth facility, Kim So-young meets this Unni, which is like an older sister figure. And one day, the Unni's wallet and AirPods go missing. And she tells Kim So-young about it. And Kim So-young has this really 뻔뻔한 attitude. I guess audacious would be a similar word. Not really. There's a little more nuance to the Korean word, but perhaps. And she would just look at the Unni and say, that sucks. I'm so sorry. If I even had $1 to my name, I would offer it to you.
What?
It's just like a really weird, thing to say. Like, what do you mean even if I had $1 to my name, I would offer it to you? But not as weird as when they check the cameras and they realize Kim So-young is the one that stole from her. The wallet, she returns. And then the Unni is like, well, my AirPods, you took my AirPods too. I don't have them anymore. What did you do with them? Did you sell them? No. I crushed them up and I flushed them down the toilet. That's not the only thing that she would steal. She would steal.
What? Why? So yeah, again, just a crazy kleptomaniac.
Straight up pictures, photos of other people hanging out, and then pretend that they were her own and post them on her own Instagram. One other girl says she would literally screenshot every story that I posted and then repost it as if it were her Instagram story.
What is this? Question mark. Because this is something too, no? Is it not? So she's a klepto, she's a psychopath. I think she was just born this way. On top of the abuse, but like if she was doing like weird stuff as a child too, then maybe she was just born a psychopath. As psychopaths are born that way, right? But the pretending like other people or your friends, like what is that? Like, can I look that up and I'll get like an answer of what that is? Yeah, I looked it up. I didn't exactly get the kind of words that I was looking for, so yeah. But I feel like I've heard of this before. You know, like taking other people's friends, pictures of other people and their friends and pretending that they're your friends. I swear this is like something you would see in like a teenage drama or something. It probably is, and whatever that drama is, I can't remember what it is, but I swear that's something that's been portrayed in media before. Actually, she's like super lonely, right? She has nobody, right? So she should pretend that other people's are hers.
When confronted about it, So-young would tell her that she's doing it to get revenge on an ex-boyfriend, and then she just went and blocked everybody. Sometimes she would message these, like she would unblock the girls that she hates and then write in their comments, fuck off, you piece of shit. And it's like, you unblock me. Sometimes she would write, God, you look so sleazy, so fucking sleazy. Another comment is, quote, your face has some fat in it and all your features are buried in the fat. But with that...
And then also, ha ha ha. I did see those ha ha ha's there. She's laughing. So maybe just a extreme low self-esteem, question mark, on top of everything. Right? Can we add that? There's too much going on with this girl. Like the fake like trying to fake being a social butterfly, question mark. I don't know what to call it. Her pretending people are her friends thing. There has to be a word for it. I don't know what it is. Her being a kleptomaniac, her being a psychopath, her being, I think, heavily insecure with those mean comments for no reason. You could even maybe double that to why she's doing the stuff with men. Can we go there? Like maybe the stuff with her father messed her up so badly that she, I don't know, because I feel like this isn't the case, but I feel like someone would try to make this example of father was so mean, but he's still her father. He's still her father, yeah. That she wants his love, but he's not giving it to her. So she doesn't think she deserves love. That she goes chasing after all these men to get some sort of satisfaction, but she's too scared. Am I going in the right direction? She's too scared to truly commit in fear of not getting the love that she wants because she thinks she can't be loved because of the trauma from her father, and thus she tries to kill them before she gets a chance to be rejected. I don't know. I was just like, you just hear the cogs spinning with that one. I mean, that's a common thing. Not necessarily the killing part, but I feel like that is a path that some people could take. I don't know if that's her path right now. Question mark.
There are still comments supporting Soyoung. Some people are saying she just wants to meet a boyfriend and dating is so hard in this day and age. She just felt used by men. She just wanted real, genuine connection.
Again, I mean, that's just how it's going to be, right? She's pretty. Men are going to be, I can fix her. I can be her hero. I can be her knight in shining armor.
Comments about the way she looks reads, she's like really pretty. She looks, I mean, I would drink the drink immediately too. She has genuinely beautiful eyes. Like they're sharp and yet beautiful and just like breathtaking.
I guess like filters on though, so you don't actually really know, right? Because the face is too smooth. No pores can be seen whatsoever. Maybe it's just the foundation is strong enough to hide that stuff, but
in a world where everyone kills each other, she just happened to get caught. I don't really think we should think much into it. Pretty face, well put together. She's got interest, just wanting love. I mean, she looks exactly like a typical girl her age. Looking through all her social media posts, it's sad that there's not a single picture with another person, you know? It seems like maybe she's lonely. I mean, she's got to serve her time, but I hope she gets to live a second life in genuine reflection. She's a true beauty. The meme in Korea suddenly became, if she's pretty, she must be forgiven. There is a...
Yeah, again, that goes kind of hand in hand with what I was saying. Precious angel that can do no wrong. Being pretty kind of helps men feel the precious angel that can do no wrong data in their DNA.
There's a checkpoint in Korea that has to be met for the identity of a perpetrator to be disclosed. The method of the crime has to be brutal. There has to be significant harm caused. There must be sufficient evidence to believe the suspect committed the crime, and there must be public interest, which there's enough information that she definitely committed these crimes. There is public interest. It's significant harm. She killed 2 people, but the brutal part, the prosecutors state the manner of the death and the killings was not brutal. They think, you got to behead someone in order for that to be considered brutal. There's a lot of cases where someone was dismembered, and that was up for debate about whether the perpetrator's identity should be released. That type of statement, the victims' families were besides themselves. They exploded. The internet rallied behind them. Like, how dare you decide if something is brutal or not? These people were killed, and their families are now, they have to watch everybody say, look how pretty she is, look how pretty she is. There's no accountability. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? Police, they won't release it. So the public are like, we got to do something. This causes a whole stir. And finally, because you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, everybody's already seen her pictures on social media. Victims' family are upset. Under that pressure, the prosecutors release Kim So-young's name, age, and her mugshot photos. And there's almost a collective silence in South Korea. The comments read, I think they arrested the wrong person. Are we sure these aren't 2 different suspects? Other people are commenting, this level of editing she does for her photos would bankrupt AI. It would use too many resources to sustain that just for her Instagram page.
Was I kind of hitting the nail on the head when I was saying the filters were too strong? Question mark? Because she blurred her face twice, I think, at some point. Was that really her? I don't think it was. Like, that one felt like B-roll. But, if it was her, it did seem like maybe her attractiveness was going to be less than what people are thinking. If she's eating so much food, she may also be overweight? Question mark. I have a feeling. if she truly is eating so much food.
Others are saying, so everybody looks like a supermodel on Instagram and I don't see a single one of them on the street. The retouching in her photos must be insane. People went from
Okay.
defending her because she was the prettiest killer alive to now hating her because she's ugly in her mugshots.
Again, pretty helps those things, but if you're not, then it does not activate that. I don't know what the correlation there is, though, too much. Like, I'm just saying, if you're pretty, it's very easy for the I can fix her, I can be your hero, women can do no wrong genes to kick in. But if you're not, then you're not going to get any of that stuff, right? But I don't know why that is. Like, I could try to make something up on the spot. Like, again, go back to caveman stuff, where I was saying, like, cave women situation where strong men kill means he can defend, he can protect. Thus, that's where you get the serial killer lover instinct. But is there like a reverse of that, where big strong man, wants the prettiest woman because he's big strong alpha and he gets whatever he wants as a caveman? Question mark. Thus, the search for prettiest woman is at the top of the list, and then that goes down to, that somehow correlates to, I don't know, I can fix her, hero, women can do no wrong. I don't know. It doesn't really, but there's at least something there that I'm unable to translate down for you. You can think about that one yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, she looks completely different?
Completely different. If her Instagram photo and her mugshot photos, I would say absolutely not there.
I mean, I already understood that from the get-go, right? Definitely. You could see the filters are way too strong when we were looking at it earlier, so that made sense.
Not even related. They're not even sisters.
So she's catfishing people, too.
Netizens decide that
I thought of the word catfish, but I didn't think to save it. Also, didn't we see this picture before? And I didn't comment on it.
Kim So-young, and this is where it gets crazy, okay? A lot of male netizens created a ranking of all the recent female killers in South Korea, their Instagram picture, and then their real mugshot. And people decide that Kim So-young is actually ranked on the uglier side of the female killers in South Korea. Yeah, I don't know why they made that ranking, but one person comments, we were tricked by the photo fillers. Looks completely different from her Instagram. I take everything I said about her back. Others say she looks way older than 20. Another comment reads, and this got a lot of likes, add some fraud charges too. And a lot of women were very upset, rightfully, and they were commenting, Korean men cannot go a single day without rating a woman's looks. But Kim So-young is not going down without a fight. She starts releasing, and the trial is happening this month for this case.
Of course, right? With these ones that are like this early, you're never going to have a finish to them, right? We're just going in raw, and we're not going to know what happens ever, right? We'd have to ourselves go and see if anything has changed, right? In the future. I don't think Stephanie's going to do like a follow-up whenever she does get convicted or whatnot.
In Korea.
Okay.
She starts releasing letters in prison to journalists, begging journalists to air her words. A lot of people believe that she's manipulative and she's writing some crazy things. Every single letter reminds me of that very narcissistic person that you probably have encountered in your life at some point or another. You tell them, hey, narcissistic person, I didn't really enjoy it when you called me really ugly and disgusting to look at and then punched me in the face and then tried to ruin my life. So like, maybe you cannot do that ever again. And they go, oh, sorry, I'll just go kill myself. And you're like, okay, well, that's not what I said at all, is that? All of her letters are written like this. This is direct quotes. I should have died just when my dad was beating me. I should have just died then. I should have self-exited. Even when I took those online depression tests, it put me at the death stage, the most severe level. Why did I call my mom asking help for surviving? When I fell into the ocean as a kid, I should have just drowned. I should have just disappeared where nobody could have ever found me. Even then, my mom pulled me out of the water thinking that I was going to drown deep and submerged like that, but I survived. When I choked on that piece of candy as a kid and couldn't breathe, I should have just died. Even then, if my mom hadn't done the Heimlich maneuver, the candy would have stayed stuck and I would have died without being able to breathe, but I survived. Like, what? She starts describing how she used to try and self-exit and how she's annoyed that it didn't succeed. And like coming from someone who has been in dark places in her life, like this, I don't see this to be true at all. Like the fact that she's like, when I choked on a piece of candy when I was a kid, I should have just died then. It's so manipulative. She continues, I should have just let myself get stabbed by the knife that my dad threw at me. I should have just run into it. Then my mom wouldn't have to stay up all night blocking the door with her body all night to protect my sister and me, putting herself through all of that. If I had just been stabbed by his knife back then, there would have been none of this pain now. It would have been so much easier for me. Then my mom and sister could live better lives and I couldn't protect them. Everyone probably wants me dead anyway. If I'm going to get life in prison anyway, if I'm going to spend my whole life without seeing my family, I would rather die. Living scares me. If I had died back then, would I have been at peace? Would my mother and sister have had life a bit easier? Then she writes another letter to the journalist and she's like, you got to air these letters, by the way. The journalist is
But I mean, because she needs people to know that she's such a victim. Again, none of this excuses the behavior, right? Assuming any of it is true, none of it excuses what she did. Question mark. Also, doesn't narcissism go hand in hand with being a psychopath? Question mark.
This is like
Sociopath.
I think she genuinely thinks that she is manipulating the public.
Yeah. But nobody's buying it at this
No,
point, right? Okay.
everyone's like, are you dumb?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? Another letter reads, I miss my mom. I'm scared. I want to be next to her. I want her to hold me. Please don't abandon me. I'm desperately, gut-wrenchingly regretful. I will faithfully accept punishment for what I did wrong. I'm sorry for shattering everyone's ordinary lives. Right now, I have two feelings fighting inside of me. Wanting to die, because it's also hard, and wanting to live. Mom, I need to eat your cooking one more time before I die. No one believes me, and I have no one in my corner. I know y'all all probably just hear it as excuses, but I'll write down the general gist of what I want to say. Even when I try to hold back tears, every single day is hard and terrifying. I'm crying all the time. I'm drained and exhausted. I don't want to live anymore. I'm someone with a lot of questions, and this is my first time inside a detention center, and there's so much I want to ask, but everyone is busy, and I can't even get anyone to answer. It's so suffocating. It's hard. I ask, and then I get no response. Being separated from my family in a place I've never been before, my heart just rots and tears apart every day, every single day. The fact that the garbage who calls himself my dad is watching my face in this case play out in the media makes me feel sick. All this media coverage is torture. My identity being made public and everybody recognize me is just so hard. Just being separated from my mom is devastating, and I can't sleep. I cry every day. I'm so worn out from crying.
It's like gibberish.
Yeah.
It's like she couldn't make up what she wanted to say. Like,
No.
She's just straight from mind to paper, right? She's not really thinking about it too hard. It's just whatever pops into her mind, she's just writing down immediately. So I had like cut here for a second, like trying to have like a hard think about everything I've been saying this entire time. I was like trying to reverse engineer how I can combine the pretty thing into this. And again, it might be hard to get to my point, not my point, but like try to get to the eureka moment. But so we're saying like pretty equals you can get away with anything you want. So let's go back to the caveman scenario, right? Caveman, or let's start with the cave woman. Cave woman sees man can murder, means can protect, means good defender, good choice, he's alpha, right? So that's where you get the serial killer line from. Caveman sees that woman wants big protector, defender, whatever, thus wants to kill to become alpha and then get the prettiest woman what he can get, right? He wants the prettiest woman. All he cares about is that she's the prettiest woman, which means she probably also is doing killing. We're in caveman times, they're probably both killing. Let's be serious, right? They're both probably killing people to stay alive, question mark. Thus, like whatever she's doing does not matter to caveman because pretty, and all that dumb caveman cares about is that woman pretty, right? And then maybe that's where we get the circle from of where if women are killing and doing whatever, as long as they're pretty, the guys don't care, right? Because pretty supersedes everything. But if not pretty, then the bad things that you're doing don't work, right? You're only allowed to do bad things as a woman if you're pretty, with this logic, question mark, of the, innocent angel that can do no wrong only works if you are pretty, question mark. I think we kind of got around to there, right? We're trying to get full circle. We're trying to fill in all the holes of what I've been saying this entire time. Yeah, I think that's fine there. Though, again, I can only give you discussions and whatnot about the people who are obsessed with serial killers on both ends. I cannot give you a reason of why she's doing this other than she's using trauma as an excuse. But again, it's not an excuse. It's just a reason as to why she's doing things, but it doesn't mean she gets to do them. I would need more information, right? I can only break down stuff so much with that. Like why the food? Why the money? I mean, I think it's just normal to try to squeeze as much money out as possible, right? That's just, if you're hunting for men, you're probably just going to squeeze them for money anyway. So, that might not even be part of her serial killer quirk or whatever you want to call it. The food obsession with food, I don't know. Maybe she just likes food. There's definitely a kleptomaniac trying to get as much money as possible. Why are you trying to get so much money? Just in such weird ways. Yeah, I don't know. I think we still need to hear more, but there's almost nothing left, right? There's 7 minutes left of this, which is more so 5 with the speed boost.
At one point she wanted to play sad, one point she wanted to play this, and then she was complaining about this.
Yeah, because I think she's trying so hard to not write down her real thoughts.
Yeah.
She's like, there's no one to open up to, no place to talk about the pain I'm carrying as a suspect. I wish they would expand the counseling services inside detention centers. It's just so hard. Then she writes, the journalist is like, okay, enough. Like, enough about this. I'm not going to air any more letters like this. Can you tell me why you did what you did? Like, just tell me that. And she writes, I'm not denying that I didn't give him the drugs, but I want to properly explain why I did it. Because I was scared of being essayed. No one ever listens to my side and it's so hard. I never thought and wanted to kill someone. I was just...
If we want to take her at face value there, can we correlate that back to what I was saying earlier with the whole love analogy and father didn't love her, he beat her, yada yada yada. Thus wants love but doesn't think she deserves it and is scared of it, and thus like when she goes out with the men she milks them for everything they have, but then she doesn't want to face commitment because she might be abused like her father abused her, or she might be like it's not just the commitment that she's scared of, she's also like scared of possibly being assaulted, like she's possibly lying about right now. But if we're going to take her for face value, then then that she could be telling the truth with her like dosing them or whatever, right? Like I already said that earlier, but it's still just the same thing, right? It doesn't excuse what she was doing, even if her reasoning is she was doing it because she's scared of commitment / being assaulted, because it goes all the way back to her father not showing her love, beating her, possibly assaulting her, and thus being scared of men doing that. But if you're scared of men doing that, why are you chasing after them so much, right? Because she was the one hunting them. Like, they weren't the ones chasing after her. She was going up to just random guys trying to get their attention, to take their money and, sleep them to death. ? So she was the predator in this. The men were the prey in this scenario. I mean, the calling these things hunting bars or whatever it's so ironic, right? It's too on the nose because she literally was hunting for men.
Just so scared that they would essay me and keep me there and not let me go. And in a moment of poor judgment, I mixed the drug into a hangover drink, gave it to them, put them to sleep.
No, this was premeditated, so that's not a good excuse. She's lying.
I was so traumatized and scared. I just wanted them to fall asleep so I could leave. And then once they were snoring, I would just leave. I had absolutely no idea that they would die. I had no plan. I had no intention to kill. I brought these hangover drinks with me to protect myself just in case. I had absolutely no idea that it would end up killing.
Isn't that just her being caught in a lie right now? Right? She said she'd mixed them in the moment. Didn't she not just say that? And now she's saying she brought them as a just in case anything goes wrong. So what's the factor? Did you mix them and give it to them on the spot, or did you do it beforehand and have it premeditated? Like, was it premeditated, or was it just in the moment act?
Killing someone. I just wish that I had ended up as nothing more than a victim. Then none of this would have blown up like this. Like, no one would be suffering like this. I'm so sorry for the victims and their families and to my own family. I was so scared and terrified. I should have just been the victim and nothing more. She's like, I should have just been essayed by them. Which, by the way, none of these men, and I am the last person to root for men and going on dates with people that you've never met before. Like, trust me, none of these men were trying to essay her, evidenced by the text messages. She is the one begging them to get a motel room because the restaurant that she wants to try is delivery only. It's not like she goes on a date and they spend all this money and then they're like, let's go to a motel.
So premeditated.
Yes.
Try to kill them in a motel room.
Premeditated. She's always asking for a motel. Always. She's the one that brings it up repeatedly. And it's not this spur of the moment where she carries her sleeping pills with her because that's her prescription medication. She grinds them up, puts them in the hangover drink, and not only that, you know how they're in one of the motel rooms, there's a hangover drink on the side. Mm-hmm. That gets tested. It comes back clean. No drugs. She carries multiple bottles, one with drugs and one that's clean. She pours out the clean one and leaves it so that when police test it later, it comes back clean.
Whoa.
And you're telling me there's no premeditation? She's writing in her journal the dosage didn't knock him out. It was only a nuisance because he kept waking up.
But do we know her motive? Is it money? Is it
money?
It's pretty much money,
Yeah.
right? Stealing.
I think money's not a good enough reason, right? I don't think it's just money. I was just really just saying, again, I feel bad saying it. Again, don't shoot me on either side, right? Don't shoot me because I'm saying something mean about her, or don't shoot me because I'm not being mean enough, right? But it just, is she just that dumb? Is she really just that dumb that she's like, okay, let me just kill these guys for money? What is she doesn't need to do that. I feel like if she just wanted the money, she was getting the money anyways. There might be some truth to her being scared of the aftermath of taking their money? ? But I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, she is just pretty dumb. She's maybe dumb, but they think she's really smart, right? Because there's some actions in there where she's trying to get away with it, like they said with the bottle, right? And all the other stuff that she was doing. But then there's the opposite of like the messages that she's leaving. Again, it seems to her like she thinks it's smart, but it's actually dumb. And not the bottle also stupid. But she's doing all these actions that she assumes are really smart and it's going to make her get away with it. But in reality, it's just the opposite, right? It's just really stupid. Again, sorry for the language of using stupid and dumb.
Yeah. The reporter sends her another letter asking, what thoughts take up most of your time inside prison? Like, how has your outlook on life changed since the incident? And she rambles briefly about her sister and mom before responding, why are so many strangers sending me letters? Honestly, these people are really weird. Why has my life been so rough? I think about that. If I could turn back time, I would. Does everyone want me dead? Can I survive inside of here? I'm just so exhausted. When I was little, if I had just let my dad stab me with that knife, none of this would have happened. No one would be...
She's just reiterating her notes.
Suffering. Media coverage is truly terrifying. Like, I get it now why people would self-exit from it. Nobody's on my side. Nobody's going to help me. Am I a psychopath? I'm going to die in here without seeing my family. Why is my mom not visiting? This is so hard. Why did I do that? I'm scared. I miss my mom. She continues to rant. Mental health treatment for suspects needs to be expanded. Counseling inside detention centers should be available all the time, as often as needed. Please listen to what suspects have to say. The media reports so much without actually knowing the facts. I think that kind of reporting can kill people, can kill suspects.
What the?
Yeah, I don't know what to say even. The top comments about her strange letters read, she seems like she has very low IQ based on how she writes, and it looks like she also has some sort of victim complex too.
I didn't want to say that. I mean, I've been calling her dumb, right? But I guess saying low IQ, I feel like low IQ can be even meaner than just saying someone's dumb. Because saying someone's dumb can just can come off as just like a childish comment. But saying someone's low IQ, I think, can be seen as much more harsher than that. Like a very sharp insult, question mark. That thought did come to mind though, like a low IQ with her, question mark, which is why she thinks she can just get away with it. Why she thinks, what I'm trying to like see from her perspective, why she thinks she's so smart, leaving these messages, like writing these notes in her book, leaving the bottle, any other little thing that she was doing, and getting away with, or thinking she was going to get away with it.
I'm gonna have a rough time in that prison, that one. Another one reads, she'll probably try the same routine in prison, playing the victim, crying poor me,
sure.
Trying to turn people against each other, and she'll get dealt with accordingly. Another,
Oof.
Hey, if there's one person out there reading this letter thinking, wait, could she be telling the truth? You gotta be careful, because people like her, everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie, except when she's breathing. Some people are defending her writing, saying she didn't want to get assaulted. She just wanted to hang out, put them to sleep, and leave. That doesn't qualify as premeditated murder. Maybe she's just dumb and didn't realize 50 pills was gonna kill them.
They wrote.
I mean, if we're saying she does have low IQ, then maybe, but it's still a crime, though. You still drugged somebody, right? And I feel like drugs are more important in South Korea, as far as I know, than murder, right? You can murder and assault people as much as you want. Drugs, though, you're going to jail. They're going to blow you up. They're not just going to go to jail. They're going to shoot you with an RPG, right? So I would assume the opposite is still the same. Like, if you drug somebody else, you're still going to get shot with an RPG. So I think that what they're saying is still dumb. Because arguably, people, they take drugs more seriously than, I mean, these are prescription drugs, not like narcotics, but still. They take drugs more seriously than murder, from what I've been told in previous Korean-based crimes or whatnot that we've heard about, right? So that whatever that person's saying doesn't make any sense, other than trying to defend her.
She just wanted to hang out, put them to sleep, and leave. That doesn't qualify as premeditated murder. Maybe she's just dumb and didn't realize 50 pills was gonna kill them.
They wrote 50 pills?
Yeah.
50 pills?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's just like rage bait, right? And that is, because saying 50 pills at the end turns it from that person saying something stupid and defending them to they're goofing and doing rage bait, right? They're being sarcastic.
But that is also not applicable because there are other ChatGPT questions that she had asked where she writes, what happens when you take sleeping pills and drink alcohol at the same time? If someone takes a lot of sleeping pills, will they die? In the police report, they included the exact response that she received. And they were like, yeah, you're gonna die.
Even a small amount of alcohol combined with a normal dose of sleeping pills can create a dangerous situation. In severe cases, it can lead to coma or death.
You cannot do that. And the worst part is there is a lot of anger with the police right now So her very first killing was 11 days before her second killing. After the very first killing, they were able to find the motel CCTV footage, and they found that it's Kim So-young linked to the incident. They called Kim So-young, and they were going to arrange for a time for her to come in for a police interview.
Is it really that cold? It seems like they're, I mean, this is sped up, but their hands are like going back and forth. It must be really cold.
And during that time, she killed another person.
Yeah. I guess they thought it was, oh, there's no way that she killed him. Maybe he was doing drugs. They were thinking of all these things, and they didn't think that it would be that pertinent to go investigate immediately. But they could have very easily prevented the second death. And they didn't. And then on top of that, the victims' families are upset because all this rhetoric online is, oh, well, the men were asking for it because they were probably going to essay her. And it's like, no, they weren't. They weren't even the ones that wanted to get a motel. She specifically, there's so many messages between the two victims where she's like, you get the motel room, you get the motel room. Oh, my favorite restaurant only delivers. They don't do dine-in. You have to get a motel room. Get this motel room. A lot of people are confused about the motive. I think the motive is money, but it's a small amount of money and food that it's puzzling to people. But experts say that she treated victims like a test subject. They're not human beings to her. They're just objects, and she controls
I mean, that's just psychopath 101, right?
them, studies them, experiments, and then just discards at her own will. That's it. She's going to be on trial for 2 counts of murder, aggravated assault, and violation of the Narcotics Control Act. Kim So-young has written to a very close source in jail that she's scared of getting life in prison and the fact that people are calling her a psychopath.
Psychopath, huh?
I mean, she is a psychopath, no, from the very start. I was already saying, like, she's just experimenting, right? So that equates to she's a psychopath. No other living person on the planet is a real thing to her. They are just objects to be played with that belong to her, by the way. Like, it's not just that they're objects that belong to her, and she can do with what she pleases. That's how psychopaths are supposed to think, right? So, of course you're a psychopath.
Yeah, and then she told this insider that she's really upset about the food in prison. She says she's
Obsessed with food. I feel maybe she just loves food, right? Maybe she just has a positive quirk out of all the negative ones, and she just really likes food, right? Not to be stereotyping. We've been talking about stereotypes all day, right? So I think I can talk about a negative one that I might get some hate for. Women love food, question mark. Maybe she's just a normal woman who likes food. Just forget about all the other stuff, like her being a psychopath, question mark. We can just at least give her one thing. She likes food because she's a woman who likes food. And women love food.
sometimes I eat it, sometimes I don't because it's not very good.
Interesting. The food obsession.
And that might just be, again, I know I'm joking, right? So again, don't shoot me or anything. No one's really gotten mad at any of the things I've say, right? That much. Like any haters that get mad, they just say some random stuff that doesn't really matter or mean anything. I'm worried about upsetting the people who actually want to watch me, right? So when I'm saying stuff like I hope like no one gets mad at me for saying this. I'm talking about the people who watch me, right? Not the haters who are already like a hater. I'm talking about the people who watch me regularly. But I wanted to further talk about that because isn't it a fact? I don't know if it's a fact, but that women have better taste buds than men, something like that. So of course, the stereotype of women love food is going to be a thing, right? If you literally have better taste buds than us, right? Food literally tastes better to you, if that is true. I mean, I can just look it up. Yeah, just looked it up all across the board. Yeah, women, they have more taste buds. They are just more sensitive to food or to taste and odor. Question mark. Something called a super taster is like large portion of women are compared to men, which are very small. So yeah, food just tastes better to women. Question mark.
And that is where we are with this case. One netizen comment reads, the fact that she killed people over a few chicken dinners, not even millions of dollars, is disturbing. Other people are saying she killed them so she could eat fried chicken by herself. I'm so confused what this world is turning into. So with that, what are your thoughts on this case? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.
Just stay safe. There's no comment at the end. So that was that. Again, I can't give you a motive other than anything else I've said during this. If we try to use the trauma, like maybe she was just beaten to a point where she just feels nothing for anyone, like maybe she wasn't born a psychopath. But if we keep using the weird theory that I was going off of memories equal instinct, like there's no such thing as instinct. Instinct is just memories being passed down a million times, including the ones that your parents gave you. And that's what instinct, like, you know, to put it even more context that makes sense. The very first lizard, let's say, or something that has legs, the very first something that has legs, doesn't know how to walk, eventually figures out how to walk on those legs, right? Maybe the thing first lizard thing that came out of the primordial soup, right? Figures out how to use legs, Now it has the memory of knowing how to use legs. Now that becomes a memory when it breeds with a new thing, and that's how instinct works. Like instinct isn't some weird magical thing that just happens. It's literally the memories of the prior animal being passed down to you because you were just a clone. Like you're just half a clone of the previous thing, and those memories are still there. So you're just accessing those memories, like your subconscious is accessing those memories to allow you to now walk, and that just keeps getting refined and refined and refined over the years, right? And that's just how all that works, right? That's a more even specific version of what I was trying to say, to try to make anyone who still hasn't understand what I'm trying to say understand. The point I'm trying to make with that, though, is, again, going back to the instinct thing. If the father was such an abusive, piece of trash, right? Maybe he also, I don't know if he necessarily would have been a psychopath, maybe he is just a horrible person, and some of that just passed down, question mark. So you can blame the dad if you want to blame the dad on that and not her. But with the theory that we're going with, this weird theory that we've been overlaying over everything, like some of that got passed down to her, question mark, on top of him just being a piece of trash to her, right? Assuming any of that is true, because we don't know if it's true or not. We're just taking her word for it. She could just be saying whatever to try to gain sympathy with people, right? We can't really trust anything she's saying, because it does seem like she's a psychopath, she's a kleptomaniac, pathological liar was being used around that. I didn't use it, but Stephanie used it, so we can say she might be that as well, and whatnot. So yeah, again, the motive is unclear, other than just she's a psychopath and was just playing around with these men like objects. But that can go down any other path, like any multiple ways and paths, right? Again, the trauma thing leading her to having some sort of weird thing with men, right? I don't want to keep trying to say it because it's like hard to like get that story in line the same way over and over again. But the father beats her, maybe assaults her, has the trauma from that, still wants, like, is dying for love because she never got that from her father, so she's dying for male love, perhaps. But that also, on the other side of the coin, she's scared to go after it fully because she's scared of the rejection, and then either maybe being beat or assaulted or just like not getting love in general, and that's why she cuts it off before it gets to that point. But this is the extreme of that, because some people would like do that anyways, right? They just have one night stands with everybody and not go any further because they're scared of commitments from some sort of trauma they had as a child, right? They're scared to go forward and get rejected, so they just stop after a certain point. But this is that to the extreme where she's going after them. She wants to love, but she's too scared, so she just kills them. She just doses them, takes their money, and runs off. So she doesn't have to deal with the aftermath. Like, taking what she's saying with a little bit, like, there's a grain of salt that is truth in what she's saying, right? With the not wanting to deal with the aftermath, not wanting to be assaulted, or whatever. I don't know. This video is 2 hours long, so hopefully I talked enough. Like, I talked an entire hour longer than the video, and the video is sped up, so technically I've talked more than double the length of this video. Hopefully I didn't sound too crazy. I do jokingly claim to be a psychopath myself, so you could take that with a grain of salt. I'm not a psychopath. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Who knows? But yeah, I think I can end. I have a headache now, so I should just stop, right, from talking for so long. I should just get on with it. So hopefully this was what the requester wanted. Question mark, as in this was a request from somebody. And I'm not saying the name. If you're wondering like why I'm not saying the name, because I don't know if they want their name to be said publicly like that. So usually when it's a viewer, I still also don't say their name necessarily unless I assume that they don't care, right? So I don't know. So this was a viewer suggestion, and I just went through with doing it today. the same day I read that they wanted the suggestion. Hopefully this is what you wanted, but I don't think I really gave a good enough diagnosis of what her motive could be. I mean, I gave some paths, right? But this is all just generic stuff. Hopefully appreciate the weird thought experiment of there being no such thing as instincts, and what we see as instincts is actually just literally the one-to-one memories of our ancestors being passed down as data from one to the other. We can argue that is what instincts is, but I'm being like literal. Like your mom, I don't know, stepped on an egg once, and then now that exact data is inside you somewhere. Like literally their exact memories, not like figuratively or metaphorically. I mean, like literally their memories are inside of you somewhere and can be accessed, and that is what instinct turns into. Question mark. Anyways, so yeah, cuties, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers or think about becoming a member. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so we can watch time and subscribers. And don't forget we have a throw now as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. Of course, this QR code here on the screen is to the throne. That one specifically is to helping get a Nintendo Switch 2 for the channel. Because, of course, the Nintendo Switch 2s will be getting more expensive in September, so if we can fund that for the channel before September, that would be great. So more money doesn't have to be wasted. Yep. So, yeah, cuties, thanks for watching. Tune to the next episode. Like, subscribe, comments. You know the deal. See ya.